Good evening, wrestling fans, and welcome to the Wrestle Talk Podcast. For the next 2 hours, we will bring you the latest pro wrestling news, in-depth analysis of all your favorite promotions from across the globe, and much, much more. We will also bring you exclusive interviews with the greatest professional wrestling personalities on the local, national, and international levels. If you want to follow the Wrestle Talk Podcast, check us out online at www.wrestletalkpodcast.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. And now, it's time for the reigning, defending, undisputed leader in pro wrestling podcast, the Wrestle Talk Podcast.
Que pasa, que pasa, que pasa, loyal members of the Wrestle Talk family. Allow me to be the first to welcome you in to episode 382 of the WTP, baby. The man to my right this evening, that's right, the one and only South Philly zone, North Jersey zone, Kansas City zone, the one and only Sonny Money Mayo.
Yes,
Tell the people how you doing tonight, bruh.
What's up? Happy Tuesday night, Al. Happy Tuesday, dog. I love Tuesday nights.
You love Tuesdays?
Of course I love Tuesdays, man.
Me too, man. I've been looking forward to this week for a while now. As you know, the Night Owl is kind of on an on and off type of shift now here on the Wrestle Talk Podcast, bro. But when I seen this week's lineup, I put my hand up and I said, put me in, coach. Because not only do we have the best of the best from the comedy world joining us in the first hour, dog, we got one of the best of the pro wrestling world joining us in the second hour, man. Tell me briefly how excited you are about tonight's fans, Mayo.
Bro, I cannot wait. I seen the poster. I seen the Steelers jersey on Matt Light. I was like, hold on, wait a minute now. Hold on. I got to at least tune in for this one, if not join the show. But Greg Anthony, former NWA National Heavyweight Champion, bro. This is going to be a great episode. I'm so excited to be here tonight, dog. I want to get up and jump around, but I still want you guys to see me, so I'm not going to do that.
Jump around. Jump up, and get down. Hey. All right, there's another great reason, bro, to jump around, and that's to give credit to all our incredible sponsors. Don't mind me if I do. Shout out to Everything Combat, our boy Pat Milicic and Jay Hollywood, Kincaid Arcade, Esports Bar KC, I-70 Sports Media, Royal Mills Transportation, Painter's Dream Productions, Rathbun Engraving, Me Fiesta, KC Party Rentals, Nobleman's Barber Lounge. Don't forget to ask for Pete the Barber. And, of course, my friends, the world's premier fantasy wrestling promotion, the FWWC. Sonny, I got a pretty good word on the street that you're getting ready to make your first visit to Nobleman's here before too long, bro. Are you excited to go check out our boy Pete the Barber or what?
No, absolutely, man. Major shout out to all of our sponsors, because without the sponsors and without our fans who tune in every Tuesday night, we wouldn't be able to have this fantastic podcast. But again, shout out to all of our sponsors, but really, Pete the Barber, bro, I seen what he did to Little Night Owl, bro. He gave him that fresh cut, bro. And Little Money Mayo seen that. He's seen Little Night Owl's fresh cut, bro. And he's been trying to put me in the Ken Shamrock ankle lock ever since, because I haven't taken him. So I got to get over to Pete the Barber, man. Pete the Barber, the Mayos are coming to see you, my friend. So it's coming. It's very soon.
Yeah, no doubt. Shout out to all of our incredible sponsors. And it goes without saying, if you're interested in supporting and getting your brand out there, make sure you email us at WrestleTalkPodcast@gmail.com. We'll get you all of our sponsorship information. And I have it on pretty good authority, my friend, that the Wrestle Talk Podcast is going to be showing up in Baltimore once again for Celeb Fest. So you guys be out on the lookout for that. Anybody who's interested in coming to meet us in person, we will be there. We're hooking up some stuff. We're going to have some stuff to give away. I'm really, really excited about it, Sonny Money. But tonight's show, bro, we can't express enough how tight tonight's show is going to be. And you know what, man? We got a lot of business to handle tonight because the pro wrestling world has been set afire with rumors and controversy. And we're going to be covering all of that in just a couple of minutes during the Wrestle Talk Podcast high spot segment. But before we do, we got a little tradition around here, my friend. I don't know if you remember this little tradition, but it's called the Good Old Wrestle Talk Podcast National Anthem. And for that reason, we're going to ask you guys to respectfully remove your caps, place your hand over your hearts as we pay homage to the greatest country on God's green earth, and that's America, damn it. Roseanne, hit it. Thank you very much. Whoa, not again. No, stop that. No, we can't do it again. Not twice. Some things, you know how people are like twice as nice? Some things are not twice as nice the second time. I'm sorry.
Hey, man, you wonder why we get so much heat from other countries potentially when we're playing Roseanne Barr singing the national anthem on the Pro Wrestling Podcast on the Tuesday night in the Midwest. It really don't get no better than that, Night Owl. It really don't, dog.
Hell no, I don't really get no better. And also, when people from other countries are watching that, they continue to be under the belief that America is lost. All hope is lost when they dude. Yo, shout out to our boy Jay Hollywood. You must have heard
What's up, Hollywood?
That's right. You must have heard us mention you, because you know we absolutely love and miss you, my guy.
Yeah,
Jay
Hollywood's the man,
doing
bro.
a lot of things, man. He's gotten himself knee deep into the MMA game. Obviously, he still watches and supports professional wrestling big time, rubbing elbows with a bunch of hot shots all over the place, man. You know, there's nobody like Jay Hollywood out of there. And the positivity that he brings into the world, man, is something that I'm always like super ecstatic to read his statuses, because he's always uplifting, man. That's why I love Jay Hollywood.
He's uplifting, but you know what? You take time out, not only just Jay Hollywood, but Jeffrey Wilson, man. He is a very intelligent human being. I've always liked my conversations with him, and I always try to listen double more than I speak when I'm around Jay Hollywood. So shout out to you over there in St. Louis, Jay Hollywood. You keep rocking your thing, man, and you'll always have big support from the Wrestle Talk Podcast.
No doubt about it. And it looks like Roseanne is bringing a tear to many a eye out there. Shout out our boy Aaron Wallace over in the St. Louis area. You know, there's just like this expression, you know, a lot of these, you got sons, I got sons. So it's like that thing, like embrace the suck. Like, dude, if you know you're bad at something, like, you better just lean into that shit, bro. Who knows? It might help you get over. You never freaking know.
You never know, bro. You got to take a shot at it. You never know. So
gotta take your shot. Well, you know what, man? We've covered the sponsors. We've done, we've paid homage. We shouted out, a couple of the people that are already on the thread. Make sure you guys are sharing this broadcast. Make sure you're hitting the like button. Interact with us. We'll put your comments up on the screen. And if you bring some real heat tonight, if you're ready to bring some real heat tonight, shoot either one of us a direct message and we'll shoot you the link. We'll bring you on with us, man. There's always room for family. You see what I'm saying? There's always room for family. And who knows? If somebody drops a really great comment tonight, I got a bunch of, bro, you've been to my place. I got nothing but the dopest memorabilia literally sitting right across from me right now. I'm willing to rip something off the wall and just give it away, fam. I'm going to do it.
So what if I say something dope?
No.
Does that no? Oh,
no.
Okay.
No.
No. Okay. What a dick. Oh, no, wait a minute.
We got enough's enough. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know how we do, baby. 10 minutes after the hour, it is time to get into some pro wrestling conversation. There's so much to talk about. Sonny Money Mayo is going to lead us off in high spots, but not until we hear from our boy, the one and only DJ Money. Team, you know what to do, baby. Hit it.
Mic check. Yeah. All right. Wrestle Talk Podcast. DJ Money. Yeah. Let's go. Welcome to High Spots, where we pop news like lamb chops. We talk shop, coming through the screens of a laptop and non-stop like a runner's speeches of blacktop. We hit hard like chair shots and backdrops. Like a plug flash, look like a barely fly. Now that's hard. We up to speed while they stay slow. Wrestle Talk Podcast. Now they know we about to start the show.
Bro, we are so spoiled. We get Hank Hudson, a legendary voice in professional wrestling, to do our intro, and we get a real life MC. You know, my man was in the Ghostbusters movie. The one and only DJ Money doing the theme for the high spot segments on the Wrestle Talk podcast. Bro, we are spoiled, baby. No question.
See, Night Out, we're flowing, we're going good here, bro. But when I host, you got to keep that camera on me because I got them killer dance moves every time we pop that high spot.
We'll go. You know what we'll do for you next time, bro? Now, since you acting all hot and heavy, we're gonna put you on single cam and let you do your damn thing. No doubt about it, bro. We'll do it, and we'll do it big. I promise you that, man. So here's what we're gonna do. We're going to go ahead and get into tonight's edition of the Wrestle Talk podcast high spot segment. I know there's a lot of low-hanging fruit out there in the pro wrestling world right now. Sonny Money Mayo, what has your attention right now?
Bro, and you know, wow.
It's hard to figure out where to start, right?
I know where I want to start, and I know what I want to talk about, Night Owl, and I think it's the biggest thing in pro wrestling as of today on Tuesday, February 15th, 2022, man. Cody Rhodes. You know, that's major news. 6 years after he left WWE, that rumor mill is circling that he's going to go back. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. I tried to stray away from taking my shots on that. I'm a betting man, and I've lost more than I won. So I think in 2022, I'm going to kind of hold off on the pro wrestling bets. I think it'd be really interesting if he went back to WWE, all things considering, the shots he's taken at him, the stuff on shoot interviews, his departure wasn't the best. While he was there, the Stardust gimmick, I mean, everything in between. So I do want to talk about Cody Rhodes, but what I really want to get on here about Night Owl, what I really want to start off with is something else from the rumor mill. And I hope, and fingers crossed, even more for you than for me, but other fans in pro wrestling, but even more for you, the rumor mill going around is one certain tough SOB from Austin, Texas.
Oh, hell yeah. Sorry.
There's one certain tough SOB from Austin, Texas, who might potentially have a match at this upcoming WrestleMania. And maybe even them seeds got planted a little bit by Mr. Kevin Owens himself when he was saying, hey, I don't even want to go to WrestleMania because it's in Texas this year. So, Night Owl, Austin, Owens. I mean, before I pass it along to you, here's my thoughts on it real quick.
All right.
Stone Cold Steve Austin is 58 years old. I think now more than ever, if he's going to come back, it's now.
No.
Hold on, Night Owl. But
I'm sorry, I'm ready to go on this topic. I'm ready, boy. I'm ready to go on this one.
But I think logic tells me if he did not come back in 2011 in the summer of Punk, when CM Punk was white hot, and there was that potential there, and those were their seeds there, and Dave Meltzer was saying something about it then, and he didn't come back then. Why would he come back now at 58 years old against a not-so-hot Kevin Owens?
I'm with you. We know that Stone Cold Steve Austin has a history of not being willing to settle. I think he's one of those guys that takes an incredible amount of pride in his history, like his legacy, I should say,
yep,
right?
Absolutely.
So we know, being fans, that the last time that he was in the ring and he nailed Xavier Woods with a Stone Cold Stunner, he actually ended up having to have shoulder surgery and was out of commission for about a year.
Right.
And so, I mean, I know he probably feels incredibly indebted to the WWE. And, you know, a lot of people would argue to you that they're slumping, even though their 2021 financial fiscal numbers wouldn't tell you that.
Right.
But from a hardcore fan's perspective, it's fairly easy to make the argument that they're slumping, especially because opposite of them is AEW. But, bro, I think it's all risk, very little reward from a Stone Cold Steve Austin's perspective, because if he goes in there, I think only bad things can happen. We've seen it happen with Taker. We've seen it happen with Goldberg. Yep. Those guys are probably, physically speaking, a little bit more, if not a lot more talented than Stone Cold. No one's going to make an argument that Stone Cold was ever the athlete that Goldberg was, right, or even the athlete that Undertaker was. and I think he may even be a little bit older than both of them. No, am I wrong? How old is Taker?
Taker, I don't know off the top of my head,
maybe?
but I know Austin's got a couple of years on both of them. I know Goldberg's 55,
Right.
Austin's 58. But you know what, Renee? Here's the thing, man. I don't want to see Stone Cold in the ring. As much as I think it would be really cool, I don't want to see it either. At least not in a wrestling match. Of course, WrestleMania in Texas, Steve Austin should be there. Even if he doesn't hit a stunner.
See, well, hold on, Chad. What's up, Chad? Nice to see you, my guy. Nothing but respect. You know what it is. You know the vibes. But, bro, I'm not saying I don't want to see him. Okay?
No,
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there's too much risk.
Yep, there is too much risk. But hear me out here real quick, Night Owl.
Right.
Okay, we got a big WrestleMania coming up. We know we can almost guarantee that there's not going to be any Undertaker. We can almost guarantee there will not be any Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in any type of wrestling.
Well, we got to talk about him next.
Exactly.
We got to talk about him next.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And he did a great job at the Super Bowl. We'll touch on him. But what does Vince love more than anything on a big show is legends. Yes.
No, I thought it was good shit.
I love good shit.
I love good shit.
But he loves having the legends out there. Mick Foley, Shawn Michaels, Austin did their thing. Last time WrestleMania was in Texas, they had that Improv 2 match. Michaels is running NXT. The Heartbreak Kid is like the Heartbreak old man now. That ain't happening. I think Taker's saying no. I think his wife, Michelle McCool, is like, absolutely not. That ain't happening.
Bro, he's getting mad chips outside WWE right now anyway, bro. So, for what?
So,
For what?
the only way I could see it, and to me it makes sense to kind of wrap this thing up on my end with Austin, is if Vince McMahon came to him and said, bro, I'm going to give you all the earnings from the Saudi Arabia show. Go get in that ring and give me 3 stunners on Kevin Owens. Like, I think that'd be the only reason.
Is that worth throwing out your shoulder again? I'm just,
I'm
just saying, dog. Like, I don't know. I don't want to do.
You just said it, man. WWE had its best year financially in decades. They've got money to spend, bro. They've got money to spend. And WrestleMania.
All right, but here's we're gonna give you $6 million for one match, plus we'll cover the shoulder surgery subsequent.
I bet you it's more, Night Owl. I bet you they're giving them more.
$6 million for one match?
I bet you they give them more, bro.
Yo, they must be getting the bag from Saudi, bro. The bag and a half, bro.
Yeah, bro. And they do. I mean, it was enough to bring Shawn Michaels out of retirement. Look how bad that was. You know what I mean? So that's why I hope Austin doesn't. I want to see him out there. I want to see some beers. I want to see him on his ATV. I want to see it all. But, dog, please don't put on the tights and the knee braces. I don't want to see it, bro. I just don't. You know what I mean? And give respect to Kevin Owens a little bit more. He should be in a prominent match.
Well, if anyone could make Stone Cold look great in a match, I mean, I'll put Rollins, KO, Cesaro. There are some guys that could probably make him look like $1 million. Basically doing nothing throughout the duration of the match. I'm sure that they could orchestrate it, but even that slight possibility that he slips on a little bit of beer. I mean, like, you don't want to have a Hulk Hogan moment where he remember that WrestleMania. He's like, "What's up, Pontiac Dome?" And they're like, "Nah, bro, you in the wrong building, fool.
You in the Superdome, bro.
It's a Superdome, idiot." Oh man, those were good times. Hey, by the way, guys, you are welcome to join us here tonight. Shout out to everybody checking us out, including the legendary Herb Simmons. Great to see you, my friend. Always an honor and a pleasure. But yeah, if y'all want to join in, man, shoot either me or Sonny Money a little quick direct message, and I promise we will get you on. We will give you some camera time so you can come in and talk your shit, all right? So just give us a shout, and we will bring you on. And who knows, you might even walk out with some sick swag. You know, we got you covered over here on the Wrestle Talk podcast.
Real quick, man, I have to shout out a couple people there. Jay Hollywood still holding it down with these facts as we're having this discussion on High Spots here tonight. Shout out to my boy over there talking Dynasty, Adam Frex. Thank you for tuning in, man.
That's what I'm kind of hoping will chime in. I'd love to have Adam on.
Yo, Frex, come on, bro. You know,
nice.
we tune in for talking Dynasty. Come on in for Wrestle Talk, man. You know your wrestling.
Yeah, that talking Dynasty after the Chiefs loss was a rough one, bro.
Yeah, I was in the comment section for that, and it was so hard for me to even type on that, man. So, but you know what? My spirits got uplifted because I called an episode of Wrestle Talk podcast with Night Owl and Dick. So, hey, speaking of which, where's Dick tonight, bro?
Okay, so here's the deal with him. So allegedly, way before the beginning of this year, Dick Douglas had a meeting with a Hollywood starlet already set. Not for Valentine's Day, because Dick Douglas likes to spend Valentine's with his mom. One thing I actually got to kind of respect that. But apparently an unnamed Hollywood starlet and, my man Dick Douglas are on a date here tonight. And he did put in for it before the beginning of this year's schedule. So we had to honor it and respect it. And you know what? We trade one Italian for another Italian. Well, I mean, Italian, Polish. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we got the family in here. The only thing is missing is the pasta. That's the only thing we're missing here tonight, bro.
Yep, that's it, boy.
Hold on. Somebody say pasta.
Yo, what?
Your boy is hungry. Your boy is hungry. By the way, if you're on a private group and you want to come on, make sure you hit the link above the post so that we can see who you are, because I got a couple of people in a couple private groups that are commenting on Facebook. If you want your name to be shown, please go ahead and hit the link and give StreamYard permission to show it, all right? Because I got a couple of vacants. I got a couple of vacants here, and we want to see who you are and read your comments. All right, Moving on. Sonny Money Mayo. For a pro wrestling fan, there are very few things that are more exciting than to see crossovers. Bro, I know we got to get to Cody Rhodes, and we've only got a few minutes before Matt Light joins us, but dude, The Rock kicking off the Super Bowl, bro. I know to a lot of people it was maybe a little cheesy or whatever, but you want to talk about trying to take your sport mainstream? There's no better way to do it than to have someone like The Rock with that kind of name recognition come out and basically conduct the opening ceremony for the biggest day of the sports year, without question, on top of WrestleMania, over the NBA Finals, over the MLB. There's no question in my mind, bro. It's the Super Bowl.
Yep.
The Rock comes out, does his thing. What did you think about his presentation? And is it a good thing or a bad thing for the world of professional wrestling? Man,
no, it's a spectacular thing, Renee. And I can't think of another professional wrestler who has left the wrestling industry and went on to do something else and became more of a pillar to get names, to get eyes on the product of wrestling. Hulk Hogan tried it, Batista, John Cena, everybody has tried it, but Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, with his movie career and becoming the number one actor in Hollywood, when people Google his name, you find out who The Rock is. Then you find out who WWE is, and it's just a rabbit hole from there. So he did he's done a spectacular job repping WWE in interviews, and he did a phenomenal job at the Super Bowl, bro. When I didn't know he was going to do it. Did you know he was going to? Yeah, I didn't know he was going to do it.
They did a good job of keeping that on the low. They did a real good job.
They did a real good job. But when he came out and he cut the arm and he did the, yo, what's up? Yeah, man. Yo, 14-year-old little Money Mayo wrestling fan still inside of me was like, let's go,
let's go. Yo, I was at the main event. People was looking at me crazy wild. They was like, yo, what's wrong with this dude?
They're like, why'd you go nuts for Dwayne Johnson? Like,
come on, bro. You know what's crazy to me, bro? Some people don't even know The Rock as a wrestler.
Yeah, man.
The kids only know him for the movies, bro. It's something that's like hard for me to fathom. Like a lot of people don't know Queen Latifah was a rapper. They only know her as an actress. Like there's a lot of people. Kanye, a lot of people know him for fashion. I mean, maybe everybody knows he makes music. I don't know, but like he's made such an impact in another field that it's crazy that we're having comparisons between a wrestler, which is what The Rock will always be to me, to some of the biggest megastars in entertainment in the whole world, not just in the States, man. I think it's kind of a cool deal.
No, it's absolutely a cool deal. And again, man, he's been the number one guy to leave WWE and blow up and represent WWE good in the right way. And he's always talking about his heritage and his lineage and everything. And he always gives his blessings to Vince McMahon and everybody in Stamford, Connecticut, because that's where he started. At $7 Production, his production company. He started with nothing. And he went to that training with Dr. Tom Pritchard and was down in Memphis and cut his bones. And, somewhat the indie scene, the WWE developmental back then in the late 90s. So, yo, shout out to The Rock, man. He's killing it, bro. I enjoy all of his movies except The Tooth Fairy, but I enjoy all of his movies.
No, The Tooth Fairy. Come on, man. My daughter loved that movie, bro. Don't be hating. All right, real quick here, we got to hit it. So Chad Jackson says, what about Tyson Fury and Wilder? That was a kick-ass fight. Yes, but not as big as the Super Bowl, and you only get a mega fight like that every so often. I'm talking about the biggest sports day of the year every year. But not a bad point, because, if you know anything about the night out, I love me some boxing, baby. That's like my I think probably my second favorite sport.
Well,
Basketball, boxing, football, and then I don't even count wrestling in there. Wrestling's so far
I
above
thought you
everything else for me.
like cross country, like kayaking, like
Polo, bro. I like
yeah,
polo.
That's
I'm
what
a
it is.
South Florida cat. You know, water polo.
Hey
in
man,
Florida.
Tyson Fury and Wilder was a great boxing match, but you know what everybody's going to remember is Wilder got knocked out, and guess what? We still remember it to this day.
To this day. You know what everybody's going to remember? Bad Bunny coming in doing a destroyer in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
I saw they was trying to kill my guy. I was like, watch. And even you were impressed. Even you were impressed.
I was. Yeah, shout out to Bad Bunny, man. I hope some of his representatives are watching Wrestle Talk podcast because we're the best wrestling podcast on the internet
best,
today.
Baby.
So
all right, we got some angry St. Louis Rams fans. You want to read that one for us, Sonny Money?
I hate it when Stan Kroenke held up the Super Bowl trophy and stuck his face to St. Louis when he moved the Rams. They should have to come back to St. Louis with the trophy without Stan Kroenke.
Oh my gosh, no filters for real over here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. No matter how wild the shit you're saying is, we're gonna put you on the air. That's just how we get down. How we get down. What's up? Go ahead.
Hey, whoever that was, man, because it said Facebook user. I didn't quite catch the name on that. But hey, man, whoever that was, hey, you guys had the XFL. It was the Battlehawks out there. Shout out to them. I know the Rock's bringing back the XFL, and they're gonna have the USFL. And you guys, you got the arch, so just be happy about that, bro. All right?
Yeah, St. Louis, you gotta relax.
Yeah, y'all gotta chill out, man.
You gotta freaking relax.
Y'all gotta chill out.
Yo, no, I think the comment section is way more lit than the show, even, bro. These people going I love that shit. Oh man. All right. Well, guess what, guys? The time has finally arrived. We are truly bringing on a man that is a celebrity on many different levels. Okay. My man, his run for the mayor of Pittsburgh was one of the most legendary runs of all time. And my man actually got some votes. He was shitting all over the current mayor, man. And honestly, if I could have voted, I would have voted for him. Then you want to talk about his ability to take it to a whole nother level in the world of comedy. My man is a multi-time Pittsburgh Comedian of the Year. And if you've seen any of his stuff on social, from that one where he hit the girl with the stunner at the end of his comedy, or he came off the top with the elbow with the Shawn Michaels joint, my dude has really been killing it. But recently, you might have seen him front row at AEW or hanging out in Kansas City right next to, I don't know, the AEW Women's Champion, Britt Baker. Ladies and gentlemen, it's both an honor and a pleasure to welcome in a man that I consider to be a member of the Wrestle Talk family, because he joined us a couple of years ago. We had a great time, and we even got a chance to hang out for a little bit when he came to Kansas City alongside the legendary RVD. We got a little music we're going to hit for him. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in the one and only Matt effing Light, baby. Go ahead and hit the music, y'all.
Love it. Can you guys hear me?
I hear you spectacular, Matt.
Okay, cool.
That shit was mad loud, though. What the hell? Come on, production. What the hell y'all doing back
Am I
there?
too loud?
No, you're great. The music was
Okay.
way too damn loud.
Wow.
Yeah, see, when I upgraded from my Dollar Tree headphones, shit got real serious. So.
Hey, bro, you can never play Shawn Michaels' theme loud enough. I don't know how many times, 3 a.m, after like 16 Bud Lights, I thought I was Shawn Michaels in Survivor Series 97 doing all that, bro. You can never play that song.
Why you acting all classy, bro? Everybody knows you used to drink Busch Light. We all know that shit.
Damn, night out there, bro.
All right, let's leave the jokes to the professionals. Ladies and gentlemen, a cancer survivor, a man who was almost mayor, a dude that is killing the comedy game, and he's also close personal friends with, like I said, a couple of badass wrestlers, the one and only Matt Light. Matt, thank you for being here tonight, my guy.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Just watching you do your thing and getting inspired, bro, and that's no bullshit.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. Just trying to do as much as I can, and been lucky so far. But we got some work to do, man. So
No doubt about it. Well, let's talk about the work, man. I also know that you're doing something in the podcast game. So let's start there and kind of work backwards, man. Tell us a little bit about the show. I know you got a co-host. You be talking mad shit to him, and I finally highly entertain it. Thank you for helping me get through my day, man. Tell us a little bit about the cast, man.
It's the Matt Light podcast. It's on Google, Apple, Spotify, Amber Alert, anything. I'm just
How do you get on that shit, bro? Talk about distribution. I need.
You don't want to know how. No, you don't want to.
Okay, actually, you might be right.
No, it's a cool podcast. My buddy Dustin and I have been doing it for about a year now. We used to do it on the radio station, and we had Jericho on back in the day and a bunch of those guys. But yeah, it's just a lot of fun. We just talk about like weekend with the bros, relationship issues, sports, wrestling. We talk about everything, man. It's pretty much just hanging out with me for about an hour and we just shoot the shit.
All right, something else that I find really interesting that you do, and I haven't seen you do it too recently, but your $10 roasts. Yeah. Are those coming back anytime soon, bro? Because I got my chips up. My tax return's about to come in. I got a couple of people that I need roasted and deep fried. So tell us a little bit about the $10 roast, man. I thought that was one of the most clever things you've done.
Yeah, I'm actually back doing them. I started doing them again last week. It was during quarantine. As a comedian, you know, I used to travel 3 cities a week, and then COVID hit, and I didn't have work. And it's not like I can just go file unemployment, you know, or just find another job in my line of work. So I just was like, well, I want to stay busy. I want to keep the tool sharp. So I'm just going to do roasting. And so for $10, I'll roast you, your friend, your boss, fucking your wife, whatever you want. You know what I mean? Your ex.
Actually, I might need more than $10 because I want you to hit every single one of those.
Bro, I mean, personally. Like whoever I can get, whoever you want. But I also want to have fun with it too, because I don't want to be a bully and just make fun of people. You know, they have to be on board with it before I do it. You know, unless you pay me more money, and then
fuck them.
So like $20, you're like, fuck the feelings, bro. You gave me a 20, I'm gonna fucking roast you.
He said a lot. He said a lot of money, bro. Not $10 more.
Well, 20 is a lot in my household, bro. You know what I mean? I don't know about y'all. Bush Light is expensive, so.
For real. All right. So listen, Matt, for me, I think it's always, and we were talking about it right before you came on. We talk about crossover. So you're one of the guys that I think is in that same mold. You've had like this phenomenal crossover from comedy to professional wrestling. For those that don't remember the last time you were on, I know it was a few years now. How did you blend those two things? Because it's one thing to be a comedian and to be a wrestling fan. It's a whole nother thing to be a comedian and integrate wrestling into what you do. So how and when did you decide to merge those two things a little bit?
So like, I think it's crazy because there's so many parallels with both industries. Because like when you are starting off in wrestling and you're starting off in comedy, I mean, you're performing in front of 6 fucking people. You're not making much money. It's more so just getting better at your craft. And I think, you know, a lot of comedians loved wrestling growing up. They love the showmanship of it. And I think professional wrestlers, you know, when they cut a promo, whether it's a heel or a babyface, they try and be funny. And that you can tell that they want to be comedians. So for me, it just happened to align when I think it was 2015 or 2016. I can't remember. I think 15. I was moving to Los Angeles and I was doing a going away show in Pittsburgh. And before my last, like my going away show, 2 weeks prior, my girlfriend at the time broke up with me. We were supposed to be moving together.
That's a bitch.
Yeah. And I was like, so what do I do now? And, you know, the manager at the Improv was like, well, I'll come out and fire you like Vince McMahon. You like wrestling. I go, that's cool. I was like, and then I'll give you the stunner. And he was like, yeah, sure. And I was like, seriously? He was like, yeah, fuck it. And he's like, do you know how to do it? And I'm like, yeah, of course. I know how to do the stunner. Everybody knows how to do the stunner. Bro, I don't know how to do the stunner. And, and I was like, you got to sell it, though, because it's mainly on you. You know what I mean? We don't want a Linda McMahon or Donald Trump shitty stunner. We need you to sell it. He's like, all right, what do I do? I was like, I don't know. So we just Google search Stone Cold Stunner. I said, okay, just drop to your knees and fall back. And we did it. And then it went viral. We didn't even think it was going to go viral. It was just a way to close out the show. It ends up being on Good Morning America. I end up getting booked with RVD, doing a 20-city tour with him. Yeah, so, you know, since then I've worked with Mick Foley, Honky Tonk Man, all those guys all over My girlfriend dumping me. So, which is kind of cool because it's like, hey, man, one of the worst things that you think you're going through turn out to be a good thing for me, you know? So maybe I'll get dumped again and be famous. I don't know. Fucking.
Well, you got to have a girlfriend in the first place. You got a girlfriend right now or not?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. Well, don't get dumped, man. Come on now.
Yeah, don't get
Try
dumped.
not to.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Might be a millionaire though. But so, and you're talking about all this, Matt. You know, and obviously going through your biography here, you're fighting cancer and your girlfriend dumping you, and life's been full circle, man. Has there been any moment where you kind of said, has there been any negative moments in all of this? Has there been anything where you said, man, maybe I shouldn't have said that or shouldn't have did that or performed that? I mean, do you look at it regrets, or are you just kind of saying it is what it is? Or
Not really. Fuck them.
My man.
I think when you go to a comedy show, you should expect some shit to be said.
Absolutely.
I think as long as you do it from a place without hate, and you can tell that I'm just kidding, and that anybody can make a joke about anything, that's offensive. But if you write the joke so smart or you're so creative about it, even if you want to be upset about it, you can't, because I hit you with that, that curveball.
Yeah. It's all about the context of it, man. I do get the pleasure of hosting Wrestle Talk podcast, but my shoe job is a truck driver. So I'm in my truck all day and I'm listening to Joey Diaz. I'm listening to Bill Burr. You know what I mean? And these comedians, and they're making outlandish jokes, but it's the context of the jokes. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like you said, you could say anything, but it's how you come across it and the meaning behind all that. You know what I mean?
It also helps to have a following too. Like, I don't have a following like those guys, but Joey Diaz, like, you already know he's going to call somebody a cocksucker in 3 seconds.
He's going to be talking about mad cocaine, son.
Yeah, so like, you know what
time.
you're getting yourself into. And I think guys like that, it's kind of easier for them because they've established a fan base. And like, once, when you go get a ticket to see Joey Diaz, you know what you're getting yourself into. When you're a local guy that's not nationally known as well, somebody like myself, they're just like, hey, let's go to comedy night. And it's like, hey, you probably should have fucking YouTubed me before you came out. Like, you don't go to a music concert, right? That like, and you love Kiss, and you're like, man, like, I hope you go to a jazz concert and be like, I hope they play some fucking Kiss tonight.
But hey, the truth is, it's the same with wrestling too. Because as a fan, if you're just looking for like old fashioned wrestling, you go to the wrong show, bro. You might get a death match.
Yeah.
And I've seen
yeah.
I've seen people walk out of shows not expecting to see that. And I think that's the fans, like a buyer beware. You know what I mean? You got to know where you're going and what you're getting yourself into.
Like, I hate the death matches. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a fan of them at all.
Really?
I don't like it. I mean, I respect what they do. I think what they do is badass. I think it's insane. But to me, there's no storytelling to it. It's
right.
I've heard people say that they're bleeding 5 minutes in. It kind of lost its luster about.
Yeah, and it's kind of like
it's kind of like the end or something, maybe.
Like that's the thing. It's like, so what spot matters then? Like, like Shawn Michaels is one of those guys that he could do anything anyone could do in the ring, but he never did, because when he did it, it was for a reason.
Right.
It was part of the story. It's like, oh, we're 3 minutes into the match and a guy broke his head over some fucking lamps. Why?
Yeah.
Like, if you like, I'll go watch Jackass.
You might be hurting Sonny's feelings, dog. He grew up going to ECW, like, for real.
Well, and
Sonny might be getting mad right now. You
that's different though.
But I still am, even to this day. I'm a big CZW fan. I'm a fan of all wrestling, and it's not hurt my feelings by no means. But I'm a fan of CZW. I'm a fan of Matt Tremont and Nick Gage and that deathmatch wrestling. Now, yes, it does not have storytelling. It does not have spots.
It's just brutality.
It has brutality that I'm not going to catch on WWF Metal on a Saturday in the middle of the day. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I know what I'm walking into. I know what I'm about to see. I'm not expecting high spots. I'm not expecting the storyline. You know what I mean? I came to see a guy get fucking 360 through fucking ladder in his mom's fucking garage. So that's what it is. And
wow.
So yeah, I mean, I enjoy deathmatch wrestling, and teach their own, man. So let me ask you this, Matt? if you got presented a free ticket, would you at least go to a live show of deathmatch wrestling to check it out?
I went to CZW.
Okay.
I went Mania weekend. I think it was me. No, it was. I went sometime. My buddy
Mhm.
Bill Molnar runs VOW,
Okay.
Vicious Outcast Wrestling, and they're hardcore and like deathmatch, and I've been to those shows, and the other show, CZW, I was there, and we saw what's her name?
Mickey Knuckles?
No, blonde, super muscular, Maria Manic.
All right, Maria, gotcha.
Yep.
We saw her wrestle a guy and just them beat the shit out of each other. Highly impressive, just not for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like people are like, oh, like open heart surgery, it's hard to do. Yeah, but I don't want to fucking watch it. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Like, like there's a lot of skill involved to it, and I'm not bashing it by any means. Like, I think there's a place for it. One of my buddies, G Raver, is nuts.
Yo, shout out to him and his recovery, man, because everybody knows last year he took a nasty one, man. And the pro wrestling community really stepped up to support him, man. So
he's actually
he's
actually part of the Wrestle Talk podcast family also. I've had to interview me and Nightmare Jones had the opportunity to interview him a couple years back here on the program. So
yeah, it's one of my buddies. He's awesome, dude. I mean, he's a great wrestler. It's just not for me.
Yep. So what is for you, Matt? What is piquing your interest in wrestling nowadays? Anything AEW, WWE, local?
So it's AEW for me. And I mean, I will say this, and people are gonna get mad at me. I love 2022 Brock Lesnar.
Fucking spectacular.
Same.
Fucking spectacular.
Get that man a mic and let him do his fucking thing.
He's just having fun.
Yep.
Did you get a chance, Match? Did you get a chance to watch him on the Pat McAfee show?
I just watched that whole thing about 2 hours ago.
Fucking great, man.
And it was so cool because he doesn't do interviews like that. And
exactly.
you kind of get to know who he is. And you kind of have not sympathy towards him, but like you look at him as a human after that. You know what I mean? Because the guy's not a dick. He has severe anxiety. He doesn't want bothered. Like, so imagine, going up to him at an airport at 5 a.m., pushing a bunch of shit in front of him. Like, yeah, of course he's going to tell you to go fuck yourselves. You know what I mean? Like, I would too.
Yeah.
I saw Brock Lesnar in person one time. I was backstage for the 2014 Rumble, and he was in catering, sitting next to Paul Heyman. And dude, this dude's face was as red as your scarf behind you, just wolfing down like fucking legs of food, like Game of Thrones style. And I looked at him for 1 second, and he was like this. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to say shit to this guy.
I think it's kind of like you said on the interview, man. That's the alpha male. That's the 1% of the 1%ers. An enormous human being, been a great performer. But this is my favorite Brock Lesnar right now. This 2022 version is my favorite Brock Lesnar of all the renditions of Brock Lesnar. Bro, him coming out of his show like that and doing that interview, and like you said, Matt, he doesn't really do many of those interviews. So for him to kind of do that, you can see that he's kind of got that anxiety under control just a little bit to be able to come on and have fun and let loose and shit. And that's fucking great. And I'm loving Brock Lesnar right now, bro. On Raw, he's killing it on Raw right now. It's awesome, man.
Yeah, and AEW, I mean, I think AEW right now is just, as far as wrestling is going, I mean, it's the best right now. I mean, I just everything is just landing. I mean, do I think they're signing too many people?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just don't want it to run into a WCW situation. But who knows? But I mean, like, I don't know. I think everything they have set up right now is great. I'd love to see at some point, because it looks like Adam Cole wants the title, right?
Yep.
Oh, bro.
Yep.
I'd love to see him and Britt champs at the same time, and see what they can do with that. But I mean, who knows? Britt's had the title for a while. How long is she going to keep it? Is Adam Cole going to just step right in and win the title? You never know.
Well, let me jump in here one more time before I let Night out. I'm not trying to take all the questions here, but it was something that we were going to talk on High Spots about. We didn't get a chance to really deep dive into it, so I want to get your thoughts on it.
Timing is good on this.
Yeah, I want to get your thoughts on this, Matt. So all this big news today with Cody Rhodes. He put out the letter, and Brandy put out a letter, and Tony
I can see
Khan put
that
out a
look on
letter.
Matt's
And
face.
my mailman put out a letter, and Dave Meltzer's going fucking nuts in his studio apartment in California. What do you think, man? What's going to happen with Cody?
It's a work.
Yeah.
No, I can see the look on Matt's face.
I mean, hey, the internet's going nuts right
He
now.
can't
Let's
say
that.
nothing. He can't say nothing.
Here's what I'll say. I think there's a reason why they waited until today to announce that and not over the weekend.
Okay.
Had it have been coming out over the weekend, where do you think he's at Monday?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Monday Night Raw. Or do you guys think it's...
So wait. Are you like talking invasion angle type stuff here? No, okay. Maybe I'm reading too much into it.
I think he's done with AEW.
So you think it's legit?
I think it's legit.
Now my boy Sonny's the ultimate like conspiracy theorist. Do you think it's a work, Sonny?
Listen, I think until today, the biggest work I've ever seen, and I'll say this until my grave, and you can't tell me any different. I think the biggest work I've seen in professional wrestling until today was Survivor Series 97.
All right. Screw job.
Can I tell you a story about that real quick?
Sure, absolutely. I'd love
Drop
to.
it.
So did you see the video of me training with Earl Hebner?
I did.
I did not.
He thinks it's a work.
Hebner?
So he doesn't even know. That's interesting to me.
He thinks, he's like, you know what? After all these years, I kind of think it's a work. I said, well, you also told me that you didn't talk to Brett for years afterwards.
Right.
You know, but he said, well, you know, like, think about it. It kept WWE. It put WWE over.
It made the McMahon character. It made Brett a bunch of fucking money.
It got him out of the contract. WCW got to do their WCW shit on the air. Because here's the thing.
Hold on. So that would mean that the Alundra Blaze title thing was also
No. I think that was just a shoot.
Wouldn't they?
I think
correlate?
that's a shoot. That's just my opinion. I'm sorry to jump in there, but I think that one's a shoot.
What's that?
Alundra Blaze
Blaze
dropping the title on Nitro?
No, I think that was her saying "fuck you" to
Yeah, I do
WWF.
too.
Oh.
Yeah, I do too.
But I don't think the Montreal Screwjob is a work.
Why?
See,
Elaborate,
and I'm with Matt
please.
on that too.
Elaborate on that, Matt.
Because I think Bret Hart's a big pussy.
What did Kevin Nash say? What was that story, bro? My man literally had a picture of himself,
Yeah,
like 8
Scott
feet
Hall.
high.
Like,
He truly believes he won all of those titles.
But I think that's what made Brett so fucking great, though. Is because
That's why I don't think it's a work. I don't think he would ever want to go out that way.
You don't think after all these years Brett would have come out and said, "Hey, it was a work"?
Nope.
I think why?
For the
Because
right bag, he would have.
for the business aspect, you think he wouldn't? Is that why?
I think that they realized that it's such
After Owen dying, you don't think he would have come out and said, "Fuck this company"? Also, this happened too.
No, because Vince McMahon went to Owen's funeral. There's been multiple reports that McMahon and Bret Hart were shaking hands and talking at Owen's funeral. You know what I mean? I mean, listen, I think it's such a beautiful masterpiece of a fucking work that they're working the boys. They worked Hebner. They worked the entire world. They made billions of dollars off the documentaries and Shawn Michaels saying sorry on Raw and the cover of USA Today of him returning to WWE. I mean, again, I said it a minute ago, till I go to my grave, you're not telling me any different. I think it was a fucking work. And I could be wrong, but I'm still gonna think it's a fucking work. So it's too much. Everybody made out in that situation too well.
So if AEW is a work, if this thing with Cody is a work, what do they do with it? Because you know WWE will not do anything to put AEW over.
No.
Because they're fucking close right now.
Yeah, they won't even mention him. I mean, for the
So
most part,
so
they
why would you think this is a work? What are they going to get out of it? He's going to go to New Japan. He's going to go to Ring of Honor.
Okay. So let me, because I think your question is almost unanswerable. Do you think he goes to WWE, or do you think he takes some time off?
He's gone to WWE.
So you think he's going there on Monday?
100%.
Wow.
They
Must have promised him a lot. That's all I gotta say. Because to go from being a creative director and her having an executive position, from those two things to going to just have a worker contract? Maybe all the turmoil with Shane getting fired, Hunter getting sick, and all this. Maybe they need another group of people that they can rely on going forward that have the mind for the business. Because Cody definitely got the mind for the business. There's no question. How
crazy would it be if on Monday night you see Cody Rhodes on Monday Night Raw, and then Wednesday you see Shane McMahon on Dynamite?
Oh, well, by the way, Raw 1.6 million on Sci-Fi last night.
I didn't even know they're on Sci-Fi now.
Not too shabby for Sci-Fi. 1.6.
Who's on Raw's on Sci-Fi?
You're on a wrestling podcast, my guy. You got to know these things. Stay with me now.
Is that for now? Is that for good for now?
I don't know what the agreement is. I'm not sure, but that's where they've been the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't get that.
It's a little strange, right?
I just remember watching Tales from the Crypt on that when I was like 8.
That was
Tales from the Crypt 8 on when you were 8, yeah.
Because it was on HBO, but then like years later when we first got like
fucking
cable.
white privilege coming out, fool. I didn't have no goddamn HBO. Are you playing with me right now?
We didn't either. We had those cheater boxes, dude.
Oh, there it is. That's right. Comcast, baby. My East Coast people know what I'm talking about.
So technically it was on channel 3 for us because he put it on 3, hooked the box up, and then moved the box dials.
Yep.
Were y'all getting the porn too, or are you getting squigglies?
We had squigglies, we had porn. I actually told that story when I opened up for Mick Foley. It's the Hell in a Cell was on my birthday in Pittsburgh, and my dad promised to take me. My dad's a piece of shit, and so we never went. And he was like, it's okay. We'll have people come over. We'll do a pay-per-view. And I go, okay, cool. So he charged all my friends $5 to come over. And this cocksucker had it on an illegal cable box.
He's getting it for free anyway.
So right before The Undertaker chokeslams him through the fucking cage, guess what happened?
Did he change it?
Nah, the shit went out.
Oh! Whoa. Hold on. I got a drop for that. Where the fuck's my drop? Really, assholes? Sorry, bro. Our production people are acting up tonight. They drink too much. Sorry, never mind. No drop.
No drop.
Fuck.
Man.
Sorry to hear that, bro. No wonder you're scarred for life.
Yeah.
I mean, probably top 5 wrestling moment of all time, right? We're talking about Trill's screw job, talking about Mick Foley coming off the top. And I got to ask you, bro, like you've had an opportunity to share a locker room, and I would say that the comedy locker room is probably fairly similar to the pro wrestling locker room. I know you've been in both. A lot of camaraderie, a lot of, kind of, we have a common struggle, right? Wrestlers, comedians, or whatever. You've been in the locker room with RVD. You've been in the locker room with Mick Foley and a lot of other legends. Man, you got any stories from those tours, those opening acts, stories that maybe they told you that the general public hasn't heard before, man? Because I know when you came to Kansas City, bro, and by the way, let me move my mic real quick. So I know if you could probably make this out, RVD signed autograph picture. But you literally got to tour with my man. So
yeah,
please tell me you got something awesome that maybe your casual fan hasn't heard before. I'm curious.
I'll tell you a story that I had with him.
All right, go ahead.
We were in Oklahoma City, and it was the first night that I was on tour with him, the second leg. And we go to a Hooters because he loves big tits. And so we go to Hooters. And now, keep in mind, who's my favorite wrestler of all time? Do you know?
HBK.
Okay. So we're at Hooters, and we ordered our food, and the server goes, "Hey, listen, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I know you." And Rob goes, "Yeah, okay, yeah, cool." She's like, "You're a professional wrestler." He's like, yeah. She goes, "Oh my God, I can't wait to tell my friends that I met Shawn Michaels."
Yeah, baby. Let's go.
I don't think Rob likes Shawn Michaels. I don't
No.
know, but like I've seen his shoots where he does the impression and shit.
With the lazy eye?
So I could tell like Rob was like not happy about it. And I go and he goes out to his car for a second and she's like, "Oh my God, did I upset him?" And I was like, "Nah." And so I wear like at the time I was wearing Good Luck socks when I perform. And I had long Shawn Michaels socks. And I was like, "Yeah, these are Shawn's socks." He gave me them and he just he'll be back. And then when he come back in, I played the music. And then the fucking server did the pose, and he was like, "Fuck you."
Oh,
but Road Stories, I didn't really ask him because I think, for some of these guys, they don't want to talk about the same shit over and over again. When I was in Denver with him, I caught a CM Punk promo on him actually because I was really frustrated. They showed up an hour late to the show, and I had to do more time for that. And I don't mind that, but I'm not getting paid what he's getting paid. And I have to do more work. And so I was frustrated and I sat down like Indian style and cut the fucking promo the way Punk did.
Baby, let's go.
And I said, it sucks because I feel like I'm the Dolph Ziggler of this tour. I was like, because I'm better than anybody else you're going to fucking see, but I won't get the credit. I won't get the money. I was like, I steal the show. And I finally get off stage and Rob heard every fucking word of it.
Wow.
And he gets on top of me and like fake, like takes his, when you bring a guy up on the top ropes and you 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. He did that to me and he goes, "That was a great fucking promo, dude." He's like, "You could have wrestled." I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Other than the whole wrestling part." And I was like, "Yeah, it's true."
Sounds like Jay Cargill to me.
Yeah, but he was, Rob was awesome, man. He was super cool, super fucking chill. One of my buddies. And, I'd love to do another tour with him. So we'll see what happens.
That would be freaking badass. Well, I know that when you came to Kansas City, things weren't maybe necessarily as on point as they should have been. I don't think the venue knew exactly what they were getting themselves into, with all due respect to them. But you went on and you did your set. I don't know how hard it was for you to do a set in front of a crowd that you couldn't see, that didn't even have chairs.
I couldn't even hear them.
I know, bro. That was rough. I was like, you want to talk about having a difficult position as a comedian. You can't see the fans. You can't really hear them. The people are standing up. And somehow, bro, you still went out there and did about 45 minutes of some of the funniest shit ever. And then RVD followed you up, and he did a pretty decent job himself, being as he's not like a, all-and-out comedian. You know what I'm saying? More of a storyteller type than an actual punchline comedian, but his stories were fantastic, so.
Yeah, it's one of the situations where a lot of these guys, here's the thing, this is no disrespect to Rob. When people go to buy tickets to this, they're not buying tickets to watch Rob do comedy. That's the problem. They're buying tickets to have them sign wrestling belts, to get pictures with him, to do the fucking pose. And so the venues that we took were all that knew the wrestling community. And so they did not set it up for a wrestling show. For a comedy show. So it was set up for disaster for most of the places we were at. When we did a comedy venue, it made more sense. The lighting was better. The crowd kind of knew what they were getting themselves into. I think Rob is very talented. I think he's a lot smarter than people gave him credit for. On WWE, they made him the stoner dickhead dumbass. Cool, yeah. But Rob is very intelligent, and Rob's a very funny guy, and
Matt's successful, not to mention.
Super successful. Yeah. And I thought it was a great platform for him to do this. I just think the venues dropped the ball quite a bit. And I'd love to, do it again with him, but I think we both learned a little bit about it. And, you just got to fucking do it the right way. And it turns out that DVD Headstrong came out of it. Were you aware of that?
Yep.
Yep.
DVD.
Yep.
Yeah. So like it was crazy because I got a call from John Morrison and he's like, I'm in RVD's living room and we're fucking watching you right now. And I'm just like, never did I think like, John Morrison would be calling me and be like, yeah, we're watching you, dude. And like Morrison was awesome, dude. I mean, I will say like, he's one of my favorite wrestlers because
I'll make the argument. Allow me, you guys will disagree. They are the best professional wrestling couple in ring that may have ever existed. Between him and Taya, as far as what they can do in the ring, I don't know if there's ever been a couple that is that talented inside the squared circle, because people that know the Güera Loca know that she's no freaking slouch, and Johnny Mundo, John Morrison, however you know him, probably one of the best in-ring workers of all time. He just never got into position to be a top guy, at least not in WWE, in my opinion.
Yeah,
if you watch Lucha Underground, you know what the man could do. You
Yep,
know what I'm saying? But that's
absolutely.
just me. That's just me.
I mean, he was our champion at Blackcraft. And in fact, one of the storylines that we were going to put over, and we didn't do it, and we should have done it, Morrison pitched it to me. We were going to do a domestic title match. And it was going to be John Morrison versus Taya. And it was going to be for the Blackcraft Championship, where it was called Everything Including the Kitchen Sink. And they were going to literally beat the fuck out of each other with household appliances and fist like fucking brawl. And we were going to make Taya the next champion. Because that's when his contract was up and he was going to go to WWE. And we knew he was leaving. And so we were like, let's put her over. Like, we would go viral because we'd be the first company to have your heavyweight champion be a female. And then I think it was Tessa. Was that her name?
Tessa Blanchard, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, she ended up.
Wow now.
She ended up being like heavyweight champion somewhere else, like right after we were gonna do it. And so I think that word got out, and they were like, "Well, let's make her do it." So, but yeah, Morrison's great.
Dope story. I love that. Sonny, we are running low on time. I promised Matt we wouldn't keep him too long, bro. Any final thoughts or questions for the multi-time Pittsburgh Comedian of the Year?
Nah, no other questions, man. I'm going to be definitely following you, and I'm glad that I had the opportunity to be on here, Wrestle Talk, tonight with you. And, you got a great story, man. You're funny as shit. You're making me fucking laugh. So I'm going to be checking more of you out when I'm in the truck driving around Kansas City making deliveries. Keep rocking, man. You got a new fan of Sonny Money Mayo out here in Kansas City, boss. And thank you so much for jumping on this interview again tonight.
I appreciate it. And also, fuck Jackson Mahomes.
Yeah,
that dude, fuck that little
bro.
punk ass bitch.
Fucking
Hey, we
pussy.
live here, dog.
Do
We
you
gotta
guys
deal with
all?
that little bastard.
Yeah, you guys all hate him, right? Like it's across the board. You
No,
guys all...
yeah, bro. He's a fucking dickhead. He went down to a local restaurant here and he tried to fucking pull my name's Mahomes card and shit.
Yep.
And fuck him, bro. He's a
I
fucking
saw
Only
that.
works. That shit only works for the night owl in this city. People should start understanding that.
So I did hear, but I heard you guys are like indifferent about Brittany. Like you guys kind of like her.
Yeah, I think
I
the
like
city.
her. I think
Yeah,
she's cool.
I think the city's 50-50 on it, man. The city's about 50-50 down the middle on it. I know some
Bro,
people.
if
can't-
you got a girl, that's what she's supposed to do. She's supposed to be rowdy and supportive and like super behind you no matter what. And that's why she's dating. That's why she's married to Patrick Mahomes, and that's why they had a baby. So yeah, that explains it, man.
Absolutely not. Fuck her.
Bro, you want your girl to be obnoxiously supportive, man. That's
Yeah,
her
but
job,
don't
dog.
make it about you. Oh, I got bullied. Let's
She did get bullied by Pittsburgh fans.
Good. Keep your mouth shut, bitch. And then it don't happen.
All right. Well, I got one last question before you go, man, and this is, I think, what everybody's been waiting to hear about tonight.
3
So-
inches. Oh.
Yeah, okay, we can get to that too if you need, if you really want to get it. For you want to boxers or no, never mind. No, we're not gonna do that. So
Do you
front
want-
row at the Pittsburgh Chiefs game alongside a certain AEW Women's Champion,
Yeah.
and then also front row with the Pittsburgh flag, baby. Represent your squad solid. I had to be proud of you. Obviously, I'm a Chiefs fan, so you know it is what it is with the teams. But I respect the man who stands by his team, win, lose, or draw. Tell us about those two different occasions, because they were like two of the coolest shits ever, bucket list type shit, and they were like a week apart. Please tell us about that.
So Britt's one of my best friends. We've been friends for about a decade now, and I just never publicly posted much with Britt because I'm pretty controversial on social media, and I never wanted to put her in a bad position. You know what I mean? And but like now, like I kind of like toned it back a little bit, and you know I'm not as annoying as I am on the internet. But no, Britt,
That's arguable, but no, I'm just playing.
suck my dick. No, Britt's
Got
awesome.
him.
Britt came into Ben's last home game for the Steelers game, and then because we FaceTime each other during the Steelers season every game, and we were like, it was crazy because we needed Tony Khan's Jaguars to win that game to get us into the playoffs.
Right.
And Britt was like, she's like, I'm telling you, they're gonna fucking win. Trust me. And I go, okay.
All right, champ. Whatever you say, champ.
So they win, and then the Steelers almost not win. And so me and Britt are super happy, and we're like, listen, it's Ben's last year. Let's ride it out. Every game he plays in the playoffs, which we knew it was going to be only one, but had it would have been more, we were going to all of those games. Then AEW Cleveland comes around, and Britt's a heel there, and Britt goes, "Bring your terrible towel." I go, "I will." So I don't know where my seats are. She goes, "I got you floor seats," because we never know. But it's always front row. So I'm front row, and I made sure that I didn't have the towel out at all before the show until what's his name? Justin Roberts is like, "Let's see everybody's signs." And I put up this 8-foot terrible towel. Ooh. And everyone's going, "Fuck Pittsburgh." And I'm like, yeah. So then I put it back in my pocket because I know Wardlow is from Cleveland. And I was like, he will take that and rip that shit up. Yep. And then I won't be able to use it. So I kept it out when Britt was there. I didn't know Britt was going to take my terrible towel, though. So she cuts the promo, shits on them. So she's the only baker that wins shit here. Takes the
yes, that was a great line.
Amazing. Takes the terrible towel, holds it up over her back, and then like 30 seconds later, one of the crew guys gives me the towel back. So I'm backstage, or not backstage. I'm back at the bar with them all afterwards, and I still have it. I go, "Britt, I need you to sign this for me because I want to get it framed, the photo of her like this, and then that." And she's like, "Oh, that's cool. Where are you gonna put that?" I was like, "On fucking eBay." I was like, I'm friends with you. I don't want your autograph. I'm getting $1,000 for this fucking thing.
That's some gangster shit.
No, I'm gonna keep it though. I mean, because it was a cool moment, man. And I'm so fucking proud of her. I was friends with her when she was literally sweeping, underneath the rings at IWC, and to see her just work so hard. I just want to talk about this real quick before you go. This is a girl who she went to dental school at Pitt, and she trained in Pittsburgh and in Cleveland. So she would get up, go to the gym. She'd go to dental school in Pittsburgh. Then she would drive to Cleveland to wrestle with Gargano and all those guys.
How far?
2 hours.
Okay, that's a good little drive.
Come back, go back to the gym, and then go to bed. She did that fucking like every day.
Dedication, bro. For the love of the business.
So when you tell me like hard work pays off,
yeah.
I've never met somebody that works harder than her. It's insane. And she's a real fucking dentist still. She practices 2 to 3 days a week. How?
But, kind of sticking with that wrestling thing, Matt, isn't that such a fucking beautiful thing to see someone grow, especially in this business like that? Me and Night Owl have got to witness that we've been to shows where it's 20 fucking fans in there,
yep.
And we've seen a guy who's second match on the fucking card.
Killing shit.
5, 6 years later, he's on fucking Raw, he's on pay-per-views.
Dean Alexander. AEW,
yeah, bro. I mean, it's a fucking great thing in this business to see growth like that. It's so awesome, dog.
Be respectful and work hard, and you'll make it.
Yep, absolutely,
it's that
bro.
Simple, man.
Absolutely.
She's the best.
So, hey, real quick, one last question, man. Why was Charlie Batch the greatest backup in Pittsburgh history? I'm just.
Because he's from Detroit.
Yeah, exactly. There it is. There it is. There it is. There
Bad
it
as
is.
shit. And I know this has nothing to do with wrestling, bro, but what did you think about the Super Bowl, The Rock, the game itself, the halftime performance? Give us your recap on that, because that's been kind of the story of the week.
I loved it, man. I wanted Matt Stafford to get a ring.
Same.
He deserved it. Joe Burrow, all the respect in the world to that guy. Jamar Chase is amazing. I'm glad that they didn't win. One, because I'm a Steelers fan, so you don't want your division team to win. Also, I want to keep liking those guys. Until they're a powerhouse, I can still like them, I think. Right? Like, if they would have won the Super Bowl next season, I would have been like, fuck them. But they didn't win shit, so now we can laugh at them for another year. Because they're still the fucking Bengals.
Yeah, and I'm kind of like that with the Chargers. Like, they're in the AFC West with us, but I like Herbert. You know what I mean? Like, the kid's got a little bit of fucking swagger to him. But if that motherfucker beats us in the playoffs or he gets to the championship,
and it's over.
Yeah, fuck him. He can go to hell, Fuck him.
I know.
Right. Go ahead, man.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
All right, and off the cuff, who wins the chamber and who's the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers going into next season? Both of those, and then we'll end it.
Brock Lesnar is going to win, and then he's going to lose the title at Mania when they bring the titles together. And then the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers is going to be Mason Rudolph.
Oh, no Aaron Rodgers talk?
No,
bro.
no Kenny Pickett?
I hope not.
You're not
Andrew Luck comes back.
I don't. Here's the thing. I would rather the Steelers be mediocre one more year. They got $44 million in the cap. Build your offensive line and then draft your quarterback in 23 when you have a guy that I don't think Kenny Pickett's that good. People don't know this that are outside of Pittsburgh, but Jordan Addison is the best wide receiver in college football. He's a sophomore at Pitt. He's the reason why Pickett looks so fucking good.
I'll be keeping an eye out for him.
He's the next Antonio Brown.
Yeah,
I'm
I'll be
telling
keeping
you.
an eye out for him, bro.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
AB's my favorite player ever. So for me, it's a
Wow.
good thing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, well, my favorite player ever is Larry Johnson, and he, we know what his record off the screen, off the field was. We'll leave that one alone.
It's okay. That's Penn State, dude. Jerry Sandusky. It's cool.
Jerry Sandusky.
Oh, come on, bro.
And we'll leave it on that note. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only multi-time Pittsburgh Comedian of the Year. You can find him on the front row of AEW, and he also happened to be Britt Baker's best friend. Amigo.
No. She has more best friends.
Oh, one of many best friends. The one and only Matt fucking Light, baby. Make some noise.
Thank you.
All right, Matt. Have a good night, bro. We'll catch you soon. Peace.
You're the man, Matt. Thank you. Yeah, bro. That was super dope. That was
Matt
dope.
Effing Light, baby. What a tremendous guest. Dude, did you expect my man to come on and kill it like that? Stories for days.
That's it, bro. I knew what we were going into with that, bro. That shit had me cracking up. That was spectacular.
Well, when people are at the top of their game, bro, and they still bring it back, to professional wrestling, my man doesn't have to talk or do anything with pro wrestling. His comedy career is absolutely off the charts right now, and the fact that he keeps it real and brings it back to what he loves, which is this sport, it always makes me happy to see guys like that pay it forward. Because again, we started this show talking about crossovers, and there's another example for you, Money.
Yep, absolutely, bro. And he's doing it, bro. He's showing it. It can happen. Music, comedy, wrestling, music, wrestling. The crossovers can happen, and you can be successful. That's an example right there, bro. That was a spectacular first hour interview, dog.
Well, guess what, guys? We're coming back here in about 3 minutes with hour number 2 of the Wrestle Talk podcast, and we ain't done yet because our boy Greg Anthony is going to be joining us, and we're going to be talking all things professional wrestling right here on episode 382 of the Wrestle Talk podcast. In the meantime, we will leave you with our brother, the one and only Vince Anity, hitting up with some Heaven's Demons. You guys go ahead and enjoy that, Daddy. We'll catch you guys in a few.
Yeah. Listen. You can shoot all your shots and we still won't come down. We some wolves, we some rods, yeah, they call us outhounds. By all means, we some kings and our table is round. Wanna float to the top, there's a chance we might drown. When the dark touch the ground, we come round. When the dark touch the ground, we come round. When the dark touch the ground, we come round. When the dark touch the ground. Everybody knows that I'm the baddest right now. Everybody knows that I would never back down. Everybody knows that there really is no crown. Even if there was one, they need to sit the fuck down. Down. They need to sit the fuck down. You clowns. Who really got the crown right now? Sit the fuck down, you clowns. You can shoot all your shots and we still won't come down. We some wolves, we some rats, yeah, they call us hounds. By all means, we some kings and our table is round. Wanna float to the top, there's a chance we might drown. When the dark touch the ground, we come round. When the dark touch the ground, we come round. When the dark touch the ground, we come round. When the dark touch the ground. You might think we some guys, but we really just men. We don't walk on the water, we still gotta swim. I just keep it 1,000 while they play pretend. I just keep it 1,000. Yeah. Go so hard that they gotta give props. Team full of stars, now they connecting dots. Not a heartbreaker, I just make hearts drop. And I think that they hate me cause I'm unorthodox. Not in your face, but I'm all in thoughts. Live how I want while you live in a box. Used to bust knocks, now I just get knots. Even though I'm cold-blooded, I'ma always be hot. You can shoot all your shots and we still won't come down. We some wolves, we some brides, yeah, they call us hounds. By all means, we some kings and our table is round. Wanna float to the top, there's a chance we might drown. When the dark touch the ground, we come round. When the dark touch the ground, we come round. When the dark touch the ground.
Yo, what is up, Wrestle Talk family? We're back for hour number 2 of the WTP. Thank you guys so much for being here. And a huge shout out to our boy Vansanity, a super talented artist, also a guy who happens to be a friend. So when you have friends that, whether they're in construction, truck driving, the entertainment business, taco stand, you know what I'm saying, pizza place, support local, just like, and I'm sure Sonny would encourage you to do the same when he unmutes himself. Make sure you also support your local professional wrestling promotion, because all your favorite wrestlers from Tyler Black to CM Punk to Bryan Danielson all started on the local level. Britt Baker, we just heard Matt Light talk about that. So Sonny, you were the first one to ever take me to independent wrestling shows, so you already know how absolutely important it is to support local, bro. But you got to drop it on them, because I know we've got a couple of shows that are coming up here in our area, and I know you want to bring to everybody up to speed on those, man.
Well, yeah, I think.
Why don't you hit us with it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the most important professional wrestling shows is coming up in the St. Louis area, and that's Black Wrestlers Matter. And yo, that is going to be a spectacular show, bro, highlighting African Americans in the professional wrestling community, and they are killing it just like everybody else in wrestling. And for them to come together and have this show, Renee, correct me if I'm wrong here, this is their second annual one?
All right, so here's what makes this one special, bro. This year, they're actually doing, I think this would be their third ever Black Wrestlers Matter, but this one is the first one ever in the good old STL shout out to our guy, Mike Outlaw, longtime member of the Wrestle Talk family, bro, that he's been coming on this show for many, many years. We were actually working on getting him booked. He's just so busy getting ready for the event that he wasn't able to join us. But make sure you guys go out and represent North County Recreation Complex. Black Wrestlers Matter, man. If there's ever a wrestling event with a significant and important cause behind it and supporting it, it is without a question the folks over at Black Wrestlers Matter, man. Make sure you support. And a lot of the guys that you guys have seen on the show already are going to be booked on that show. Okay, including Mike Outlaw, Camaro Jackson, Kenny Alfonso, and the list goes on and on and on, bro. There was another show that I know you wanted to hit on here tonight, Sonny, and it happens to be in the greater Kansas City area, bro. Why don't you go ahead and tell the folks about what we got coming up here in good old Kansas City?
Yeah, this Friday night in the West Bottoms at Blimp Roasters Coffee Shop. The Love Below, Journey Pro. I cannot wait. Look, even the cat had to join in and say, what's up to everybody on Wrestle Talk Podcast tonight, because she might even make the trip with me down to Journey Pro. The Love Below, Blimp Roasters, this Friday night. Yo, we're Night Owl. Money Mayo's going to be in the building. I hope Night Owl's in the building, because you know these Kansas City professional wrestling shows are off the chain. Every single time, bro. And they are holding it down over there. Shout out to DJ. Shout out to Hartzell. Shout out to the whole group over there at Journey Pro,
Shout
man.
out to Chris. Shout out to Walter. You already know.
Hey, the whole
Nothing
crew
but love.
over there, bro. Renee, me and you got to go to a Journey Pro show back there in November, man. It was awesome. It's different. It's more for the party crowd. I would not suggest taking the little ones to this show. You might hear a Money Mayo in the back full of energy giving off some F-bombs to that damn Jeremy Wyatt and the
Howlets, bro. The Howlets. Boo.
Yo, the Howlets too. Boo. Yeah, man.
Moonshine Mantel. Boo.
Boo.
Christian Rose. Boo.
Boo. Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Wow.
So
well, you know
Journey
what? Our
Pro-
boy, real quick, I think this is important to mention. Our guy, Big Country, Matt Stockdale, dropped this comment a little bit earlier, and I want to get your thoughts on it, Sonny Money. Quinn McKay, I feel like she's one of our very own, recently departed from Ring of Honor. You know, we already know who she's affiliated with, one of our favorite wrestlers in the whole wide world.
Yep.
Recently signing to NXT 2.0, man. How are you feeling about Quinn McKay signing to WWE, bro? Got to get your thoughts.
Well, I'm a little upset because she was supposed to be at Journey Pro, the Love Below. So now she's not going to be in Kansas City. I can't see her live. But hey, great for her, man. Anybody who could sign to a big company like that, I know for a fact that she put the work in, just like we were discussing with Britt Baker earlier in the first hour with our first hour guest, Matt. You put the work in and you put your mind to it, you can get to one of those big promotions if that's your dream. And I think that was her dream, Night Owl, and she's accomplishing it. So congrats to Quinn McKay, man.
Yeah, speaking of people going after their dreams, shout out to my daughter, G, the one and only. I love you, baby. Going to college, being a mom, being a wife, being beautiful. I love you, Mija. Thank you so much for checking us out tonight.
T.O. Sonny loves you, hon.
T.O. Sonny loves you.
You know I love you to death.
No doubt about it. Well, listen, bro. Greg Anthony is in the green room. He's eating up all the green M&Ms and the Avion water that he requested. We know a man of his prestige and respect deserves first-class treatment. Before we bring him on, and we will be bringing him on here in a matter of moments, let's go ahead, do me a favor, Sonny Money, and remind people of all of our wonderful sponsors, if you don't mind.
Hey,
sir.
without the sponsors, we can't be here. So you got to give a shout-out to Everything Combat. My boy over there at Kincaid Arcade and all them fabulous gentlemen. Shout out to B Will Esports Bar KC, baby. Interstate 70 Sports Media. Royals Mills Transportation. Painter's Dream Productions. Rathburn Engraving. Them mugs are cool as hell. Me Fiesta KC Party Rentals. And Noble Men's Barber Shop Lounge, Kansas City, Missouri. When I go, I'm going to ask for Pete the Barber. When you go, you're going to ask for Pete the Barber. So shout out to all of our wonderful sponsors, because without them and without everybody in the comment section and sharing and liking, we wouldn't be able to get together here on Wrestle Talk Podcast live every Tuesday night and talk about what we are all here for, the love of professional wrestling, man. So shout out to all of our wonderful sponsors.
Did you say something about a Wrestle Talk Podcast mug?
Wow, look at that.
I just so happen to have one, you know, scientifically proven to make your drink taste 17.5% better.
Absolutely.
And don't worry,
Nidell.
just trust the science, guys. Trust the science. That's what everybody's saying these days. No doubt. Hey, listen, we got a quick comment, and I want to make sure we hit on it real fast. Let's see where our comment is here. Ooh, Big Country responding back to us. Big Country still loves the Wrestle Talk podcast, and the Wrestle Talk podcast loves us some Big Country. Matt Stockdale, congrats on the marriage. Congrats on all the success, man. You come a long way from ranting and raving in your SUV, crying, yelling about stuff. Bro, you know your boys, the Money Mayo and the Night Owl, bro. We always was riding with you, Country. Now that you found yourself a good woman, man, you seem to be in a much better place, and nobody is happier for you than the guys over at the Wrestle Talk podcast.
Yeah, baby.
Sonny, man, what do you think, bro? We having a good show tonight, man? Because I'm getting some good vibes about what we got going here tonight, man. I'm gonna be honest.
No, I think we're killing it, man. You know what? And as much as I love seeing them, I'm just glad that it's not a dick show. You know, I'm just glad it's not a dick show. So.
All right. Well, again, for those that are wondering, I know there's about 4 of you that were just dying for Dick Douglas to be on here tonight. Again, we have received confirmation that Dick Douglas is actually out on a date with a Hollywood starlet. This was in the fine print before he signed his contract for 2022. So he actually kind of had requested this day off already. So if you see him on TMZ or something like that, just make sure you remember you heard it here first on the Wrestle Talk podcast. I'm not necessarily happy about it, but if the man put it in the contract before, I mean, I guess I can't.
Hey, he's one of the co-hosts of this great podcast, Night Owl. And you know what? I've heard all the rumors, and I want to put them to bed now. Dick Douglas did not have anything to do with the 2004 voting scandal in Florida. He did not tamper with those voting booths, okay? Dick Douglas is a man of pride, prestige, and I'm happy to say of the Italian Americans out here in the world, he's holding it down for us. So shout out to my boy Dick.
My boy Dick. Hashtag vote for Dick 2022.
Absolutely.
Listen, bro, I just want to know how much that man paid you to put him over like that. That's all I want to know.
Hey, you know, I got to take care of my guy. You know?
You sleep with the fishes.
Yeah, you know.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the time has come for our second featured guest of the evening. A lot of you guys already know the Golden Boy is a longtime member of the Wrestle Talk family. He joined us here about 2 years ago, in February, 2 years ago to be exact. And he's been in the pro wrestling business for well over 20 years. You heard Sonny mention he's a former NWA national champion. He's a nine-time champion in that. And also, man, Mid-South Unified Heavyweight Champion. I mean, I don't even want to go through this man's stat because really we could be here all day and never actually even bring him on. He's also a guy that you should be following on social media because like our boy Craig Keatsman and a few others, there are guys that are always going to give it to you straight. Rudy Gonzalez, there's another one that are always going to give it to you straight in the world of professional wrestling. Cut no corners, talking no shit, just keeping it 100% real. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have some introduction music that we're going to play for this man because he absolutely deserves it. Give us a round of applause as we welcome in once again to the Wrestle Talk podcast, the one, the only, the Golden Boy, Greg Anthony.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Golden Boy. What's up, Chief? You can't hear us? No, we can't hear you either, bud. I would log out, log back in, and activate your camera and microphone. I think that's what you're gonna need. We're gonna pull you real quick and then let you log back in, buddy, okay?
Hey, it happens to the best of us. Even the pound for pound and inch for inch, the best of the best in professional wrestling today, Greg Anthony. It happens to the best of us, Night Owl. Technology is just advancing.
And we're
so,
live, dog.
Hey, technical difficulties, man. Hey, but you know what? While we're waiting for Greg to get that going and getting that straight, man, what'd you think of the first hour guest overall? I know we still kind of talked about him. I still got a big smile on my...
No, screw that. We got to go back to listening to Lex Luger's theme. Hold on. All right, so I got to ask you, and he'll be back with us. I'm going to ask him the same question, bro. Why did Lex Luger not take off the way that they wanted him to, bro? And we all see him, God bless him, in the wheelchair, and, you know, a lot has changed for Lex Luger over the years. But, bro, the Lex Express, he had the look, he had the tan, he had the 20-plus inch tight pythons, brother. I mean, he was basically the full package. Why do you think, and we're talking about a lot of controversies in the Montreal Screwjobs early, so I want to bring it kind of back to that. Why didn't Lex get over, bro?
Long answer short here, promo. My man sucked on the mic. Yo, he can hit that torture rack, and he looked like $1 million, but at best, I think he was average in the ring. And when he got on the stick, I mean, name me a memorable Lex Luger quote, let alone a promo.
Is that too loud? I'm kind of liking that. I'm kind of hoping to leave that in the background because that is such a good intro. That's what I'm saying, bro. The Lex Express, the intro, the tan, the gear. Like, you want to talk about putting a guy on a silver platter for professional wrestling fans and still coming up short, bro. I don't understand it. I still don't get it.
Yeah, man. And there's been a lot of guys like that in professional wrestling that Rick Rude, British Bulldog, all them guys. There's a list of guys in the 90s.
Well, I wouldn't put British Bulldog in that same, because British Bulldog had like a decent amount of success, especially as a tag. You know what I'm saying? I think he did pretty good. I don't think Lex ever really had that little run where you could be like, oh yeah, he was wild successful, even if it was just for like 6 months. Did he?
That summer of '93 with the Lex Express, bro, they were putting him over to the moon. And, before that, even that Lex Express, after the Lex Express, that WrestleMania '94, I mean, he was main event. I think Vince was that close to putting the title on him. It was close. It was to the day of. And it ended up with Bret Hart walking out of that WrestleMania. But no, Renee, I think there's a list of guys, and there's a lot of professional wrestling fans out there, and I hope they tune into the Wrestle Talk podcast here and even drop a comment or even come on with us one of these nights and discuss this with us. But there's a group of 90s wrestlers out there who say that they should have got a run with the main strap. Mr. Perfect, Bam Bam Bigelow, British Bulldog, Ravishing Rick Rude, that they just never got their run with the WWF strap, So I think you can throw Lex in there, man, and I think Lex's biggest thing was the promo. He just could not cut a promo.
Okay, but here's the ultimate question. Like, when you talk about those guys that never got the run that they were supposed to get, who would you have removed? So in order to give one guy a run, you would have had to take it from somebody else. So who was? All right, give me that list again that you were just running through.
I said Mr. Perfect.
Okay, so who was champion during the time of his run? Bret Hart? You would have gave it to Mr. Perfect over Bret Hart?
Hulk Hogan was the champion at the time. But you know what, Renee? But back then, they didn't switch the titles like they do now.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Every run was 200 plus days. Yeah,
exactly right. When you were a champion, I mean, I guess today, Roman's held that belt for how long? 400 and some odd days now.
Yeah, he's coming up on what, a year and a half, easy.
Yeah, but they flip flop these titles there. The late '90s, 2000s. I mean, every 3 weeks there was a new champion. So, in retrospect, I think old wrestling heads like myself would have loved to seen Mr. Perfect get a short run with the title.
Same here.
British Bulldog, I think he was in there. I mean, that main event. Oh, do we got Greg Anthony?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to jump in with. All right, so I believe we got Greg back. I think he just needed to activate his mic or whatever. Guys, it's all good. We're going to get him on, and we're going to give you plenty of time with Greg Anthony. So, once again, let's try to bring in the one, the only, the golden boy, Greg Anthony. Greg, are you there, buddy? Oh, okay, it looks like we got him, but we might have a frozen frame there. Okay, so we'll try and get in just a moment. Don't worry, guys. We don't give up easy here on the Wrestle Talk podcast.
Oh, no.
If you're watching, Greg, Wi-Fi connection, headphones usually go a long way. They can be really, really helpful. Let us know. Message me if you need any help. We're going to go ahead and bring you back on here in just a moment. But we're going to keep trying because we don't give up, okay? But go ahead and finish your point, bro, because and as a matter of fact, I think you'll like this. Hold on a second. Go ahead and read that message from the one and only Adam Frex.
Shout out to Adam Frex. Tune in, Talking Dynasty this Thursday, Frex. I'm looking forward to hearing that out. I'll be sharing, liking, commenting. You know what? I will. Frex jumps in here. Early 90s, Luger in WCW was one of the top 2 faces in the company. Adam, you're absolutely right. He was. But even then, bro, he couldn't cut a promo, bro. I mean, he wouldn't survive a 10-minute interview on Wrestle Talk podcast because we roasted him to death because he'd just be stuttering
Hey,
over
at least
his words.
Steiner was funny, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like at least you could laugh at a Steiner promo. Lex Luger was just painful.
Yeah, it was, man. Yeah, there's a lot of guys, and that's the beautiful thing about professional wrestling. There's a lot of guys who are great on the stick and can't work a match at all. There's a lot of guys who are great in the ring and they suck on the stick. And then there's the few and far between who could do both. You know what I mean? So that's the beautiful thing about professional wrestling, though, Renee, and that's why we're here talking about it, bro.
Well, that's the way I look at it, man. Like, you have Matt Light on, and he's talking about like how he doesn't necessarily appreciate death matches. And then 2 weeks ago, I was at UUCW watching Justin Gray and Remington Roar like absolutely destroy each other in a death match. Well, I mean, I don't know if you want to call it. It was more like a light. I don't know what you want to call it.
It was a death match.
Oh, it was a death match, but it was like one of the most entertaining things that I've seen in wrestling in a long time. And you know what's funny? I don't even consider myself to be like a big time death match fan either.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what, like, I don't know. It just depends on the day. I could be into anything. You know what I mean? I love old-fashioned NWA style wrestling, but at the same time, if you give me some NJPW, depending on who's involved, right now, and you guys might have heard last week, one of my bucket list items, I would love to call a match for MLW Fusion in Spanish down in Tijuana. By the way, I do have a passport. If somebody can get the word out to the MLW folks, I would really appreciate it. Your boy can call matches in Spanish. I think we were doing the show last week, and we hit the SAP button, and then your boy went, Bienvenidos al Wrestle Talk Podcast, aquí con el Naira y con Sonny Money Mayo. Bienvenidos al episodio 382. And then we turned it back to, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, bro, it doesn't matter what kind of wrestling you like. It's definitely out there. You just can't be a lazy ass.
Right.
You got to go out there and find it, man. So I know you asked Matt like this question, Sonny Money, but I'm going to ask you this question. What's catching your attention right now other than the headlines, other than the Cody Rhodes stuff? Are you excited about Elimination Chamber? Are you excited about what's going on in AEW? What are you keeping tabs on? Is like what's kind of at the top of your list right now?
I think more than ever, the real main event and upper mid-card scene in the WWE, it is WrestleMania season. I love this time of year. I love the Royal Rumble. It's my favorite WWE pay-per-view, second to WrestleMania. So I'm really interested in all the storylines. I'm interested in Elimination Chamber. I think Brock Lesnar is going to go in there and just rock some heads and walk out with that thing. Like, I truly believe, Renee, that Brock Lesnar is going to get – I don't think he'll start off the match. I think he'll be in a pod, but I think he'll be like the third or fourth one. And I think he's just going to get out of that pod and he's going to go in and like German suplex and F5 and pin. Like just,
everybody.
He's going to wreck them all, bro. Them people over in Saudi Arabia are not even going to know what they freaking expect because he's just going to go in there and do carnage, bro. It's going to be awesome. So I'm looking forward to that. And, just WrestleMania in general. AEW is still hot. AEW last week, CM Punk and Jon Moxley tag team match. That was awesome. And I didn't think there was going to be anything on that show going to top that. And the main event for the AEW World Championship between Hangman Adam Page and Lance Archer.
Bro, what a great freaking match, bro.
Great
freaking match. That's the best match since the Bunny and Penelope Ford versus Taya and what's the girl from the oh, come on now, bro. Why? Anna Jay.
Yes, okay.
Dude, that match, because I put that match over big. A lot of people probably didn't even think or see that coming. Neither did I.
Right.
But, dude, but the Lance Archer Cowboy match was crazy, man. Crazy.
Yo, and, and that whole thing with the top rope breaking like a couple minutes into the match, and they're bleeding, and they're finished, dog. Yo, AEWs keep holding on, bro, and they're pushing in them ratings, so just the whole landscape of professional wrestling. I try to deep dive in all of it, and I get excited about all of it, and I put my emotions into it, and that's why I shitted on the Royal Rumble so bad. It's my favorite pay-per-view of the year.
Well, you were just mad about Lita. Why don't you keep it a buck and tell us about how you was all personally salty because your childhood crush got eliminated by – I don't even know who she got eliminated by.
I don't know either.
But you were quite salty, sir.
Bro, I was in a certain Mexican living room doing the Lita dance and shit. I was hyped, bro. She came out. She didn't have the
I
thong.
thought you were gonna throw your back out. I'm gonna be honest.
She didn't have the thong. She had the granny panties, but I was still like, yo, that's my girl right there. You know what I mean? So yeah, my pick was Lita in the
Uh-oh.
Royal.
Uh-oh, buddy. I got some news. Guess what? It's about that time to bring on our guest. I think we got all our audio issues taken care of. My man, he looks like he's in the studio now. So
Okay.
here we freaking go. One more time, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the Golden Boy representing Tennessee to the fullest, the one and only Greg Anthony. What's up, Chico?
What's going on, guys? Sorry about the little
Yeah.
technical
Man.
difficulties there.
No, don't worry about it, bro. It looked like you was trying to come on the show from your garage or something. Like it looked like you had a little seance going on, and now you brought us into the lair, baby. I love it. Action figures galore. You got your gamer chair going, man. Thank you so much for coming on and being our guest again, man. It's been a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you asked me to come back on. You know me, I love talking about professional wrestling. So
No doubt about it. Well, my man Sonny Manny Mayo is going to join us for this interview, man, and he's excited to talk to you. But I'm going to go ahead and kick this thing off, man. First things first, and I'm going to be a little selfish here, bro. Like, what do I need to do to get my locks right? Because let me tell you something, bro. I got the transporter look going on. Rogaine, I mean, that's cool, whatever, but that's more for hair color. I'm just, the locks, bro. You can't call yourself the Golden Boy unless you got the golden locks. Please go ahead, and I'm going to grab my notebook here real quick and start taking notes of how I can get my hair luscious and beautiful. You literally look like the pro wrestling version of, what's my man? Fabio. Pro Wrestling Fabio. The Golden Boy. Breathe. Give me all the tips. I need them all, Greg.
So step one is genetics.
Oh, wait a minute. I think we got a drop for that. That's how I feel about genetics.
My mom and my dad both have long, luscious hair, so I got it honest. You know what I mean? So I inherited it honestly. But you can be the Golden Boy without having golden locks, because actually one of my heroes and someone that I pattern myself after a little bit is the Golden Boy Arnold Scotland.
Wow.
And,
Yeah.
Baby.
and
Real
he was
legend.
and he never had blonde hair. He was always dark headed, you know. So
Yep.
that's why I tell especially when I was dark headed, people would say the same thing. They're like, "Oh, you're not the Golden Boy. You're not blonde." I'd be like, "Well, the gold in my name refers to championships,
Ooh.
and I always had one around my waist usually." So
You did. I was going to go through all your career accomplishments, but I'm looking at the clock, bro, and I'm like, we only got 30, 40 minutes here. We got to be. And by the way, one of my childhood heroes also called himself the Golden Boy. The Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya.
Yeah.
So I had to give it to him there, man, for real. So,
Yeah.
Greg, you heard the introduction, I believe, and I talked a lot about your accomplishments, but I also talked about your social media presence. And I kind of threw you in the same category as Craig Keatsman here in the Midwest, Rudy Gonzalez down south. I know you're down like southeast. Like there's some OGs in the business that really speak game, okay? And you don't bullshit anybody, and you potentially will hurt people's feelings with some of the things and some of the opinions that you have. But I've always seen it as constructive. Like you're trying to educate people on what to do and not to do in the world of professional wrestling.
Right.
What inside you kind of prompts you to take that authoritative role? Maybe it's because you've been in the game 20 plus years, former NWA champion, super successful, still relevant in the game. Maybe that's it. But I want to hear from your mouth, man. What incentivizes you to come out and drop knowledge like that for a lot of these greenhorns out here just getting into the business?
You know, a lot of it is just me trying to better the business that I love. The area that I'm in, like you said, I'm very honest. I'm very outspoken. You know, I'm going to tell you what I think, right or wrong. And I'm simultaneously the most loved and the most hated guy in my own area because of that fact. And I don't have any issues with that because that's the game, right? You know, so I have no issues with any of that. But like I said before, it's just about me really trying to better the business. At first, it was just about bettering my general area, you know, my West Tennessee area, because we had a lot of issues with drugs and alcohol and pedophilia and just a lot of stuff that was really detrimental to our community, or communities, I should say. So for me, like when I made a little bit of name for myself with traditional championship wrestling. We were in legitimately, 50 million homes. And I made a little bit of name for myself. And most people, when they make a name for themselves, they try to get booked as many places for as long as they can and make as much money as they can while doing it. I took it the other direction. I took my little bit of name that I made and I came back to my home basically and started a promotion to help filter out all the garbage. So, and the guys like Craig Keegsman, obviously he's a good friend of mine. He does the same thing. You'll see his rants on there too. Mine are a little, I try to make mine more Reader's Digest version, than
real.
Craig does, but I still try to put that out there. I want, because if I'm not talking about what professional wrestling should be, then the people that don't know what the hell they're doing are, so that creates a vacuum. And I don't want it to be like that. I want it, hey, this is what they say. Hey, but this is what I say.
Right.
And which one makes more sense?
Well, I think that's reasonable, and somebody who's actually, because here's the good side and the bad side of social. Like, everyone has an opinion. That's both. Like, that's a good thing and a bad thing. But to have somebody with the credibility behind their opinion, I think that puts you into a different stratosphere. At least somebody who doesn't have to be necessarily loved or hated, but should always be respected.
Yeah, and part of that is the issue that professional wrestling has been presented as completely fake and phony over the last 30 years. And because it's fake and phony, people automatically think that their opinions matter, that they know what's going on with professional wrestling. They've never taken a bump. They've never booked a show. They've never done anything like that. And they think their opinion means just as much in the world of professional wrestling as mine does. And I don't agree with that. I've never worked at a donut shop a day in my life. So I don't run into some place at 4 a.m. and go, okay, motherfuckers,
do what I say.
Yeah, do what I say. I'm going to show you how to make these donuts. I don't know I have no idea even where to begin. You understand? Yep. So I hate seeing people. I really hate seeing people that are not inside the business, or at least in a journalistic role, using our language. That bothers me some, because I don't want to hear heel, baby, all that kind of stuff. I don't want to hear that from you. I want to hear good guy, bad guy.
And and that's the one thing I've noticed about mainstream media now, ESPN radio and guys on overnight radio, they are starting to use they're wrestling fans, obviously, but starting to use them wrestling terms, babyface, heel, comeback, shine, so on and so forth. And it kind of even amazes me. But, Greg, I've been in the ring. I've taken bumps. And, I get razzed for being a wrestling fan. And I don't care. It goes in one ear and out the other. This is my passion. I love the wrestling business, all the good and the bad that comes with it. But that's the one thing that I say to those naysayers, and people say, oh, it's just fake, and oh, it's just phony, and it's fake guys under the wear. And I tell them, go ahead, go down to your local wrestling school, go get in the ring. Let's see you take a vertical suplex. Let's see you take a suplex off the top rope.
Go down to Harley's real quick.
Go down to Harley's. You know what I mean? Go see somebody. Let them put you in the corner and chop the living shit out of you, and then let's see how fake it is and how phony it is to you. And I always defend it that way.
And that's part of my thing too. We run a wrestling school. It's Pro Wrestling Mid-South Academy, and I get about 3 to 5 messages a week from people wanting to train. Right. Yep. And then very few of those people actually follow through, but 9 out of 10 people that actually come one day never come back.
Nah, bro. Bro.
And that's a point of pride.
That's why we charge you for the tryout, because we know that you're not going to come back.
Well, I don't do anything outrageous to them either. It's the first bump. It's the squat bump, the flat back, whatever you want to call it. Yep. That's what they do the first day. That's the only thing they do the first day. And it just kills them, in most cases. So they get a nice taste of it pretty quick.
And I've loved the wrestling business since I was a kid there. And I've been in the ring. I've had a couple matches, but it only took those couple matches to realize this business ain't for me as far as being in the ring. And I respect it too much and I respect myself too much to go in there and potentially hurt myself or hurt somebody else. Yeah. It's not for me. It's a tough business. It's tough on the body. It's tough on the mind. You know what I mean? If you're doing it right, And which, Greg, I'm so glad you are doing it right and you're preaching the right stuff, man. But yeah, if you're doing it right, man, it's a tough thing on the body. And hey, no shame in my game. It ain't for me, man. So more respect to guys who go in and do it the right way, day in and day out for this business.
Well, that's what I tell all my guys too. Is like, listen, this business hurts no matter what, but it hurts a lot less when you do this correctly, right? And like I said, I've been wrestling 22 years. And I think I'm in still pretty good shape for someone that's 40 years old and been wrestling since he was 18. You know what I mean? And it's all because of just basic structure of, hey, I'm going to land flat on everything. I'm not going to get brain busted. I'm not going to get, dumped over the top rope onto the floor. It's just, you just got to protect yourself and know some of your limits and what can I do that is awesome, but I can still wrestle tomorrow?
Yep, absolutely.
I think there's a fine line there, and I'm not going to mention any names, but I've also seen workers brag about not taking one bump the whole match, and that always kind of bothered me too, because I'm like, bro, you're and I hate to say it, but it's the 2 times that I've experienced it, it's been with people that are near the top of the card. So I'm like, wait a minute, you're getting paid the most, you're showing up the latest. You're kind of not necessarily following all the rules, like helping break down the ring and all that. And on top of that, you're bragging about taking 0 bumps during a match. I'm like, come on, you kind of owe it to the sport to a certain extent, I think, to put not necessarily your neck on the line, but to set the example for the next group. And if you're not even willing to put yourself on the line to take a bump or 2 during a match, if it calls for it, I know there's some matches that really don't call for it. It's more of a brawl type thing versus some of the traditional bumps or whatever, but I've always felt like it comes back to the same thing that both of you guys are talking about. It really just comes back to respecting the sport, whether you're new or you're an OG. Because there has been disrespect of the sport from both ends of the spectrum, and it's not just the young guys, even though that's a lot easier to talk about.
Yeah, it is a lot. And like I said, as long as they're not being overtly lazy by not bumping, you understand? But if there's something physically wrong with them where they cannot bump, but they're still able to entertain within the confines of a professional wrestling match. Listen,
Ricky Morton is a great example.
Yeah, Ricky doesn't bump much anymore, but he sells his ass off. And that's been his shtick for, 40 years. But same thing. Someone broke my ribs, a couple years ago. And like, I didn't take any time off. I just wrestled with broken ribs. So I really wasn't bumping in any of my matches. I would basically crumble down, I guess you'd say. If I took an enziguri, I didn't take a bump off an enziguri. I kind of crumbled down with it and stuff like that. And no one ever realized that I wasn't bumping, because I was still getting my ass kicked. I was still in the middle of the heat, you understand? I was still fighting from underneath. And I was still wrestling 20, 30-minute main events. So there is a way to do it, but like you said, as long as they're not being overtly lazy and bumping just because, hell, I don't want to bump. That's not really something I'm going to be bragging about. But when the situation calls for it, I can work a match without doing it.
Yeah, and if you've got, in my opinion, and Sonny, I know I'm throwing it back to you after this, but in my opinion, if you've gotten to that point where you consistently are unable to kind of set that example, maybe it's time to take a step back. I don't think there's any shame in that. Like, not everybody is Greg, and you can keep going after 20 years in the game. Our body gives out on us. You've seen it over and over. You've seen Andrew Luck retire a little bit earlier. I forgot, who was that cornerback that retired right in the middle of the game a few years ago?
Vontae Davis with the Buffalo Bills, right in the middle of halftime. He just said, I can't do it no more.
Exactly. And there was another linebacker, one of my favorite Luke Kuechly. After 8 seasons, he was like, I'm done. You got to know when it's time to step back, especially if you cross that line and it means that you're not giving the sport the respect that it deserves.
Yeah. But you know what? I think with the wrestling business, it's kind of like rock and roll. You're addicted to this thing. I've seen so many guys who don't know when it's time to hang up the boots and be a producer or promoter or whatever the case may be. And some guys can still do that. You know what I mean? Ricky Morton, we were just talking about him. Ricky Morton, at 60 years old, he can still work an entertaining match. He might not be taking a lot of bumps, but he can still put on a wrestling match that's going to be having the fans standing up and cheering for him and booing for his opponent. So there's some guys out there who can still do it. So I want to switch this up a little bit here with you, Greg. I want to get your thoughts on this, especially with someone who's been in the business as long as you. I was scrolling through Facebook a couple weeks ago, and I won't mention names or anything, but I seen someone who's been in the business just as long as you, if not longer. And he made a Facebook post concerning breaking down and setting up for a wrestling show. And he felt like that once you got to a certain point in the business, you don't have to do it no more. Now, I've seen it come from both ways. I've seen veterans who, been 15, 20. Yeah, I've seen veterans 15, 20 years in. I noticed when you go to a WWE show, Little Nate, the referee, Charles Robinson, he still breaks down the ring. You know what I mean? Yeah. Every show, he's still breaking down the ring. He's been in this business for 30 years. So, Greg, what's your thoughts on that, man? I mean, do you still help set up? Do you condone it? Or do you think it gets to a certain point that maybe the young boys could handle that? Or
well, with the Charles Robinson thing, that's part of their payroll.
Yeah, exactly.
Is the refs setting up and stuff like that. And some of them even drive the trucks and stuff like that. So that's part of that. As far as like veterans actually doing it, I don't mind helping out on certain stuff. But if there's 10, 12 young guys around that haven't done it near as much as I have, then they should have first shot at it.
Yeah, pay your dues, right?
Yeah, it's all about the paying dues. My son is 14 and a half. He's been training for the last 6 months, and he refs for us. And anytime there's something like that to be done, I make him do it because that's part of what you're doing. And there was a point in my career where when we wanted to work out in the ring, we had to put up the ring, work out, and then when we were done, we had to take down the ring every time we did it. So like
cardio, boy.
Yeah, exactly. Luckily, I was 19 at the time, so it didn't bother me as much. But now, like, there's been times now I'm like I say I'm in pretty good shape, but like, my knees are banged up, my back is banged up. I can't bend my elbow straight out on my right side anymore. Stuff like that. So, and there's been times where I've had to help because I was the only help there to help break down a ring, and then I could barely walk the next day. So yeah,
WD-40, bro. WD-40.
Yeah,
you gotta put that on your knees, your elbows, your neck.
So
everything.
I don't, like I said, if there's young guys around, then they need to be doing it because that's part of coming up.
That's fair.
I would never personally ask like someone that's been wrestling 20, 30 years to do this or that. Now I've had guys that have walked up to me and they've been wrestling just as long as I have. Hey, you need help with anything? I was like, no, man, you're good. Just let the young guys handle it. Kind of it's just a show of respect kind of thing. And I'll help out any way I can, obviously, because good promoters and good companies are becoming harder and harder to find.
Yeah.
Preach, man. I love that. That's a great question, Sonny. What else you got?
Well, so also kind of keep it going here. So we had a wonderful guest on last week in Jason Strife, and I kind of asked him this same question. So we're talking about young guys and paying dues and young wrestlers and so on and so forth. So what is your method of thinking when it comes along with training? Do you have a certain timetable on, hey, they have to be in a school this long before they see a first match? Or and I was just talking with a good friend of mine about it this weekend, the same thing, that a school will not there's a school around here, they will not let the trainees ride with vets to other shows, not in their promotion, unless the promoter's okay with it. And I've seen so many different things here, but basically what I'm asking here is, do you think there's a certain timetable that these guys should be in a school before they get in and have their first match?
So what I done is, I created a curriculum basically. So like with our stuff, I've actually created a step-by-step, we do this in order kind of stuff. And everybody just kind of goes down the steps. Now there's like 70, 75 steps to this stuff. So, I mean, most of the time it's going to take between 6 months and a year to get them match ready. Right. And it really just depends on how often they come to training and how quickly they pick up on everything. So that I don't have an exact timetable, but they have to finish my curriculum. Okay. And once they finish my curriculum, then I start thinking about what does their gimmick need to be? What do they need to wear? That kind of stuff. And we do birthday parties and things like that. So like that's an opportunity for them maybe to get their first match in front of a bunch of kids, which is a lot easier because kids are going to react much easier than most adults, especially if you mess up. They're a lot more forgiving. So like with the young guys, we just kind we kind of get their feet wet, kind of get them going, and then eventually they'll become what I call full time for us, which is because we run every Friday night in Ripley, every Saturday night in Dyersburg, and starting back in March, we'll be every Monday in Memphis again.
Oh wow, man! Wow, Memphis, huh?
Hold on! Don't steal my question. Don't steal my question. Hold on.
Go ahead right now.
All right. So Greg, I gotta ask you, man. You've been in the business a long time, and I'm looking through your resume and some of the people that you've competed against. But you being in Tennessee, I gotta get your thoughts on Jerry the King Lawler and the influence that he's had in the world of professional wrestling, and then maybe because I know the fans love this stuff. Some of the other guys that you've had an opportunity to work with in the ring, some of your favorites, maybe some that weren't as great as you expected. Anything that you'd be willing to share with us as far as some of the bigger names that you've had an opportunity to work with over the years?
Yeah, Lawler, first of all, he's one of the greatest of all time. And
sure.
And obviously being in my area, everything gets compared to Lawler and Dundee and that Memphis wrestling thing. So we try to walk that line. Like I like a lot of the Memphis stuff, but I also like a lot of Mid-South. And then I also like a lot of Crockett, right? So like I try to melting pot a lot of that stuff together to create our own thing. But Lawler to me is, it's hard. There's an argument for him being the greatest of all time just because
he gets left off the list so often.
Yeah, because
it's
everyone
always
thinks
been my
he's
argument, man.
Yeah, everyone thinks he's just a Memphis guy, but the thing is, like, he was working on top, making astronomical amount of money for the day, obviously, and he was only 10 minutes away from his house. You understand? So why would he?
Fair.
Why would he go to California, or why would he go to Florida or Minnesota or any other territory when he could have that kind of life there? It's simple economics. But even today, he's over 70 years old, and I just tagged with him in September, and like
70.
Yeah, he's over 70.
Gosh, I hope I look that good when I'm 70, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, for real.
And he's just and this is something people don't understand too. Jerry Lawler is a genetic freak, and I'm gonna tell you how much of a freak he is. He just started wearing knee pads.
Wow.
He started having
Stone Cold was wearing knee pads when he was 18 years old.
Yeah, exactly. Like Lawler did the fist drop off the second or the top all those years, and like never wore knee pads. And then his knee started bothering him a couple years ago, and then he started wearing a little bit of some. And then I think he got some cortisone shots. I don't know if he still wears them.
Jesus.
You know what his fountain of youth is? The puppies.
Yeah.
For real. I be seeing pictures of him. He's still.
But that's I told someone not too long ago that when you're talking about wrestlers and their age and the quality of their matches, for age and for quality of matches, I don't think there's been anyone better than Jerry Lawler.
Okay. I gotta ask you though, because a lot of people would make this argument. What about Terry Funk?
Yeah, I mean, Terry Funk's up there too. I mean, Flair's up there, obviously. And, Luthez is even up there. But if you watch that last Luthez match he had, he was 74, and it was like 8 minutes long. And it wasn't
the best.
Yeah, it was not the best. But, I mean, here we have Lawler, who most people don't even realize that he's not bumping, like we talked about. Like, he does it in such a way that
if I go see Lawler and he doesn't bump, I'm not going to be mad about it.
Yeah,
because he still sells, and he still, he puts everyone over. We had a really good tag match, and like we won with basically double stunner, So
let's go. I'm sure they love that.
Oh yeah, they ate that up.
And I know you've traveled quite a bit in your career. Do you find the fans? Because I'm a Southern boy. I'm originally from South Florida, so. Do you find the fans in the South are a little bit more inviting than maybe the fans up in the Northeast or out West? What has your experience been as far as working in front of different crowds?
Well, and I was just telling my students this the other day too. Like everywhere I've worked, I've done this old school Memphis kind of style.
It works.
And it works everywhere.
Right.
You understand? There's obviously there's going to be cultural differences between when I wrestled in California and when I wrestle here close to Memphis and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's still good versus evil. It's still basic professional wrestling. It's just, you have to know how to present it in a certain way. And nowadays it's so out of the realm of possibility to actually do those kind of things, that I'm different.
You stand out now, right?
Yeah, what I grew up watching was the norm, and what I wanted to emulate and all that kind of stuff. All that kind of stuff is kind of washed away, and now there's only a handful of us really doing that kind of style now.
Yeah, it's almost unique now.
Yeah,
because it is such a traditional style. And I want to throw it back to Sonny here. I don't want to be selfish with all my time or with the time, but I have to ask this. So have you gotten a chance to work what I call some of these new age shows where you're kind of allowed to cuss, throw the mic a little bit, maybe shoot a little bit? Have you had a chance to work a show like that? And how different is it for you to work a show like that? Is it a significant adjustment or
I haven't really. Everyone I've worked for is pretty much the same mindset of me. Like, we want to keep it a family friendly kind of thing. You know, I've done bar shows before, obviously, when I was younger, and that, that was probably the
different environment for sure.
That was probably the most different environment. Yes, there was cussing, and usually there were some college frat guys that would sit on the front row, and you'd have to tell them to fuck off or something like that. But I mean,
hey, Sonny, remember the girl that ran up on the apron at the Journey show like a couple of months ago?
I started the chant inside the Blimp Roasters coffee shop down here in downtown Kansas City. It was a bachelorette or bachelor party, and someone showed up in the party bus, and this drunk chick tried to get in the ring. Now, she's lucky she was a female, because if that was like Money Mayo drunk as a fan trying to get in the ring, I would have got laid out. Yeah, I would have got fucked up. But so luckily they grabbed her and they took her out the front door, and I started the chant of "You fucked up. You fucked up," and I had the whole coffee shop going. Hey, to anybody watching the podcast tonight, unless you're an actual professional wrestler or referee, do not get in the damn ring. They will fuck you up. Like, that's the truth, man.
Well, hey, and before I throw it to you, Sonny, Greg, I want you to react to that, but I also want to piggyback on my own question. Sure. Like, I've seen, and maybe it's just me, but it almost feels like, going on social media reaction alone, that wrestlers are almost like begging for the fans to come across that line so they can whoop that ass. Is there a little bit of that? Because it makes me a little uncomfortable to see wrestlers like literally advocating for fans to come over the barrier just so that they can put their hands on a fan. Is that something that you would condone, or how would you handle that topic with your students? I'm curious.
No, I mean, before our events, we actually have a pre-recorded thing that we record that, talk about our sponsors and things like that. But also it says, hey, don't touch the wrestlers, don't cross the barricade, don't throw anything towards the ring.
Disclaimer, baby.
We've had absolutely no trouble in 7+ years with anybody trying to do anything, just because I really think just because we, at the front of the thing, we're telling them, hey, this is the ground rules. If you try to do this, then you're out, that kind of thing. Yeah. As far as I don't invite anyone to come in, but I'm not going to back down from anyone either. So, I mean, it's like one of those things where if they want to test it, then go ahead and test it. But I mean, I don't want them to do it, because I don't want to create that kind of environment for our fans. I want everyone to feel like they're safe coming to our wrestling show. You know what I mean? So I don't want them to feel like they can't take their kids to our show because there's going to be some kind of drama like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Jump in the ring and do something crazy. You might end up on the 4:00 news. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Don't do it. No. So, Greg, I gotta ask, man. Going through all your pictures and catching up on your biography, you had that illustrious beard.
Yeah, bro.
Where's it at, Greg?
Same. Such a good question.
So, I actually had a title versus hair match. I lost the unified heavyweight title, and in order to get another shot at it, I had to put my hair on the line. And one of my best friends of over 20 years, he actually came out and acted like he was going to help me, but then he turned me around and hit me with a pair of brass knuckles and knocked me out. And then him and the guy cut my hair together, and they cut my beard off and did the whole thing.
Oh, man.
Wow. Was there any part of you that was actually dying on the inside when that was happening, bro? Because I've grown a beard. Like, I seen your beard, bro. I can grow a beard like a Spanish god. Was there any part of you that was like, oh no, after all these years? How did you feel while that was going down?
I mean, honestly, I'd had it for 6 or 7 years at that point. So, I mean, it was time to change. I've been pretty good about knowing when to change my look up. And even though that was definitely my most successful look, just because of the reaction that I got and everyone commenting on it. But it was time. It was time. I'm much happier right now with my shorter hair, my shorter beard right now. So
everybody in wrestling and everything in wrestling always makes a return. Will we ever see it return, Greg?
Yeah, you never know. I mean, there's a very possibility it could happen one day. I mean, how cool would it be if I was a 50-year-old guy still wrestling, then I went back to that, like Handsome Jimmy or something?
Yeah, there you go, man. There you go.
That'd be awesome.
There you go. That's spectacular, man. That's spectacular. Well, Greg, and also going through, kind of going through your social media here, and which at the end of this interview, we'll get you to shout out all your social media so all of our fans here on Wrestle Talk Podcast can follow you and catch up with you on all things wrestling down there in Tennessee. But, Southern wrestling, you're kind of an old school guy, not a fan of the new type of wrestling and what the fans are liking. Like, my son is a big Young Bucks fan. I mean, what do you think about that type of wrestling, Greg? I mean, is it more always about storytelling in that Southern way? Is there anybody newer who does that type of wrestling that you are a fan of or is catching your eye?
That's a good question.
With the Young Bucks and stuff like that, it's not that I don't want to see athleticism. And that's what I get a bad rep for that. Like, a lot of people think, well, it's new, Greg's not going to like it, or it's too athletic and he can't do that, ergo he doesn't like that. That's not the way it works. For me, there's no point in doing anything in professional wrestling unless it's sold. Yep. And that's my problem with the Young Bucks. They don't sell anything. Nope. And everything comes off very generic and very phony and very gymnasticy.
Okay. So let me jump in and interject because I'm going to play devil's advocate. What's the difference between the Bucks not selling and Piper not selling? Because we all know that Piper was notorious for not selling shit either.
Yeah, but Piper
and we love Piper here, but
yeah, and Piper was what, 6'2", 6'3", 240, 250?
He was a big boy, that's fair.
And the Bucks are 180 at best, maybe?
5'10", 5'11",
yeah,
maybe.
Exactly. It really all comes down to stuff like that. And there's guys like, even me, I'm the top babyface in this area, right? But I can't get away with the Sting or the Hulk Hogan or the John Cena no sell. Like, people just don't buy it coming from me because of whatever reason, my height, my weight, whatever you want to say. But I mean, these things that we talk about in professional wrestling, when we got to the 70s and 80s, these guys had 5-6 decades to polish all this stuff out. And that's what we ended up with this is what the business is, and this is how it works. This is the perfect combination of sport and entertainment. And then, like, all of a sudden we went the completely other direction with it. And now that's what we're seeing. We're seeing guys, like, to me, it's completely disrespectful to me for guys to go, I know that's the way it's supposed to go, but I don't want to do it that way.
Yeah.
And that's what the Kenny Omegas.
Time tested, man.
Yeah, exactly. Kenny Omega. I watched a video where Kenny Omega said there's no right way to do a headlock. There's no wrong way to do this. And he was like completely serious because he wants to be that starving artist.
Hold on. So did you see the Ortiz and Santana tag match where Ortiz bent over before the guy? The guy was outside the ropes on the apron. He kind of flipped up. My man bent down. He bent down to facilitate the flip. It was so obvious. Right. So I agree with Greg. There is a right and a wrong way to do a certain move. And when it looks choreographed, that's the wrong way. That's just my opinion.
And there's different ways to do this, obviously, but like if I'm in the back and we go over the entire match from A to Z, there's no way you can go out there and perform that without a little bit of what you're talking about. Like I know a clothesline's coming, so you're going to see me go, like I know it's coming instead of reacting to you throwing a clothesline.
Right.
It's a completely different. And what we teach here is a lot of what's called walk and talk, which is basically you just go in the ring and you call everything right then and there, and you tell your story from there. Sometimes I don't even call my finish in the back. I go out and say, I'll tell you the finish in the ring. And once we get out there, I do the whole match of that. And that's the difference between being an actual worker and then someone playing wrestler,
Between being a professional and not being a professional.
Or between being a wrestler and being a professional wrestler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. There you
Yeah,
go.
I
mean,
there you
And
go.
there's all
there you
kinds
go.
of, and back to Sonny's question about, I like a lot of guys, and that's the thing. It's not that I don't like them; it's that I see the potential that they have to do what really needs to be done, and they're not doing it. So
Right.
that bothers me. Like, I love Chad Gable. I think that kid.
Oh my gosh, he's
amazing.
so good.
Yeah, he's so good, and I like him, and I like Cesaro, obviously, and like there's a lot of new people that I like. It's just they're not given an opportunity to do the kind of wrestling that I like, and like it gets lost in the shuffle. Like, they've said it so many times that Cesaro is pound for pound the strongest guy in professional wrestling. Why isn't that his gimmick? Why isn't he doing that
Can't
on
tell me
television?
it's the accent, because Becky Lynch got over with the accent huge. So you can't tell me it's that either.
Don't get me started on Becky Lynch, Jesus.
Oh, okay. I love that, bro.
But-
let's get you started on Becky Lynch. Let's get you started on Becky Lynch.
Okay, so the only reason Becky Lynch is over is because Nia Jax broke her face. Because before that, she was toiling away.
Yeah.
She wasn't doing anything special, right? But then all of a sudden, she got punched in the face for real and got bloody and took advantage of it. Now, I'm not going to say anything that she did the right call. She actually kept doing business after that, and it got over. And everybody, oh, that's a bad bitch right there. But think about this for a second. How far have we come from professional wrestling where everyone is so shocked that someone got really punched in the face?
That used to happen a lot.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, we all in the early 80s, I believe the Freebirds were kicking everyone's ass.
Oh,
You
absolutely.
understand? You know what I mean? Now, but
Absolutely.
now it's like I said, we've projected this thing that it's so fake and it's so phony that now we're all up in arms when someone actually gets punched in the face.
Haku was laying that shit in. Harley was laying that shit in. A lot of people. Vader was laying that shit in. Everybody knows.
When I was 6 years old, you couldn't tell me that Bret Hart putting someone in the sharpshooter wasn't really hurting him. You know what I mean? Like, I really thought they were getting fucked up. So
Well, I'm sure you guys have brothers or cousins like I do, and if you've ever put one of your siblings in a figure four, you know that.
I put my mom in a figure four one time. No lie.
Yeah,
my dad almost killed me.
I mean, it's legit. And I tell guys that when I'm teaching it at the school, I'm like, listen, be easy, because this shit can really hurt someone. So just be light with it right now, and we'll teach you the rest later. But Becky, I think that a lot of what she's accomplished has been more of a PR move, I guess you'd say. Like, there's no way you can tell me that the triple threat main event at WrestleMania was because they drew that house.
That was Ronda.
Yeah, it's not that. I mean, that and then they fucked up the finish, right? And then no one said anything about them fucking up the finish. It's like, if that was two guys that fucked up the finish, they would be buried 12 feet
everywhere.
Deep. Yeah. But because it was
completely.
women, and since it was this big, thing, oh, it's okay. Look, women finally main evented WrestleMania. Yay.
Everything else is details.
Yeah, everything else is details.
Yeah.
Paradigm shifting, or whatever you want to call it.
Well, I do have one last question before I throw it to Sonny for his last question, and we get into the game show challenge. And a lot of people have recognized you and respected you for your pro wrestling opinions and also what you've done in the ring. But also, I think where you haven't gotten enough credit is your ability to work the stick. So when you look at the young talent out there, whether it be guys at your school or stuff that you're seeing on TV or on the quote-unquote independents, who has you impressed with their ability to grab that microphone and capture the crowd? Who are you looking at and you think maybe are cut a little bit in your cloth to a certain extent?
I mean, MJF is great. I like 80% of what MJF does.
He's great.
And let me explain that, because like I said, I'm not a big fan of cussing and things like that. So like that's where he crosses the line for me. It's really easy to get heat with somebody when you call him a fat bitch. You know what I mean? Like,
that's fair.
No, it's true.
That's fair.
Cheap,
True.
and that's easy. It's when you can still get that same level of heat and not using any kind of vulgarity whatsoever. That's when you're great. And I think MJF has the ability to do that. It's just we're not seeing it right now. And like, there was a time on AEW that every promo I watched one night said shit. Like, it's not necessary. That's not necessary. And also you're giving your company a glass ceiling as far as how far you can go, because
there's parents and things like that that are not going to let their kids watch that kind
15
of
and over, done.
Yeah.
I mean, 15 and under. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You should have seen the look on my father's face when I showed him on TV back in '97 what I bought tickets to, and it was ECW, and it was Sandman slamming Budweisers, and yeah, exactly. So
And see, and that's the thing too. Like I was a teenager at that time too, and like I loved ECW because I was on the cusp of that, getting a drink, and all that kind of stuff. So I thought that was the coolest thing ever. But like as I'm getting older, I realize, how much if you're thinking long-term business, ECW couldn't have been around for 20, 25 years.
Nope.
It was a product of its time. You know what I mean? A sign of the times, if you will. So like, I think that's always been my mindset. Like, it's not where are we going this week? It's like, where are we going to be in 5 years?
Yeah.
And when I tell people, I've told people for the last decade, I've told people that they're killing the business. And everyone looked at me like I was crazy. And I was like, listen, when I say that, I don't mean they put a gun to its head and blowing its brains out. I mean, they're poisoning the cookies little by little. And if you look over the last 10 years, you see how far we've fallen.
Yeah.
Sad but true. Sonny, any final questions or thoughts before we get into the game show challenge?
I actually got a two-parter here, Greg. One, I want to know the best piece of advice and short answer that you can give to all aspiring and upcoming wrestlers. And two,
hey, by the way, I think we don't give the ring announcers, the referees, the managers. So I would add to your question, Sonny, and say to anybody looking to enter the pro wrestling business, because I happen to be a commentator and I want to
happen to be a ring announcer when I can. So any advice to anybody upcoming in this business, whether you're just setting up the chairs or you're looking to main event, that's question one. And question two, is Night Owl Money Mayo better than the Young Bucks?
Yeah, come on now. Come on.
At this point, everyone's better than the Young Bucks. Like I said,
hey.
like I said earlier,
can we do the side thing though?
As long as you sell, you're going to be better than the Young Bucks. That's what people don't understand about my little thing on Facebook. Is every day I post a tag team that are better than the Young Bucks.
You're going to have to get into that a little bit though. What is that? So you've got some sort of like every day saying XYZ is better than the Young Bucks. So what initiated that and why?
So I did it last year with Kenny Omega.
Okay.
Right. I did it and it got such a response. Everyone loved it and stuff like that. And I was just making a point. My point with both of these things is I'm tired of hearing Kenny Omega is the greatest of all time. I'm tired of hearing the Bucks are the greatest of all time. I'm showing you that even guys that were middle.
I know you can see my poster. Right. That's the greatest tag team of all time, and I will hear no arguments.
See, I will not disagree with you on that. There's a handful of people I will not disagree with, but when you tell me that the Young Bucks are better than Strike Force, I don't believe you, because Strike Force was a great tag team.
Absolutely,
and the fact that they were only together, a couple years and barely did anything in WWF, but they're still better than what you're calling the greatest. I'm just proving a point.
Yeah.
So and it's really a symbolism for the entire business, because there's a lot of people that try to wrestle like Kenny Omega. There's a lot of people that try to wrestle like the Bucks. So if I'm telling you that, these 50 or 100 people that I'm talking about are better than what you're considering the greatest, then maybe you need to rethink your thought process.
So does it come down to storytelling? And I mean, would that be the best advice to give wrestlers in coming into this business? Like, tell a story. Don't just go in there and do moves and do spots that don't make sense. And
well, the main thing is find a trainer that's reputable, but at the same time, don't just give your money to any named trainer.
Right.
And that's been one of my things over the last couple of years too, is a lot of these guys that have a name value in professional wrestling, they're training people, but they're not really training people. Like I told you guys, I spend 6 months to a year with my students, right? They're doing 2-month training sessions. There's no way you can teach everyone everything they need to know in 2 months. And then they'll teach them that for 2 months and then say, okay, now go get booked. And then it's like they're I say it all the time, that kid needs to go back in the oven because he's not done.
And my friend Sis says, she says, That boy's cornbread ain't done all the way in the middle.
Exactly. That's a great old saying too.
It is.
But that would be my advice. Find a reputable trainer that's actually going to care about you and actually going to teach you what professional wrestling is all about. I'm 40 years old, so a lot of the guys that I get at the school are, old enough to be my kids. You know what I mean?
19, 20, 21, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like one of my first pair of students, they're like, "Oh yeah, we were born in 2000." I was like, "Son of a bitch!" Like, how old am I?
Yeah,
But,
man.
The main thing is just get someone that's going to help you, that's going to stick with you, that's going to, give you advice and genuine direction, and not just trying to either line their pockets or, stroke their own ego.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
I genuinely want to help all of our guys, become better. And I think I have a track record of even guys that have been working for a while or have been trained already, and they come to me. If you spend a weekend with me, it's better than a year with someone else sometimes, because I'm going to give you so much knowledge and a completely different thought process about professional wrestling that you can take and start building on.
You got to respect that, man. Like, hey, the golden boy for a reason. My man is dropping gems left and right. And guess what, Greg?
What's that?
As much as we appreciate the knowledge, we have heard through the rumor mill that you have a little bit of a competitive streak. That's why you're still putting on the singlet and whooping ass all across this beautiful country that we call the good old US of A. So, if you're open to it, we would actually love to have you join us in tonight's edition of the Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge.
Sure.
Are you in?
I'm in.
All right. In a few moments, I'm going to play a theme song, which will introduce the Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge, in which Greg Anthony, the Golden Boy, will go one-on-one with the Wrestle Talk Podcast's very own Sonny Money Mayo in a bit of a trivia challenge. I'm going to go ahead and hit the music, gentlemen, and then I will explain the rules. Does that sound good? All right, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's edition of the Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show Challenge. Tonight's contestants are scheduled for a best 2 out of 3 falls. In tonight's challenge, we will have, once again, Sonny Money Mayo versus the Golden Boy, Greg Anthony. Gentlemen, in a few moments, I will ask you 3 questions about a particular professional wrestling topic. Whenever you think you know the answer, simply shout out your answer. And in honor of tonight's guest, our Wrestle Talk Podcast Game Show category will be National Treasures. In a few moments, I will give information about 3 professional wrestlers that have held the NWA National Heavyweight Championship. When you think you know who I'm talking about, gentlemen, simply shout out your answer. The first person to score 2 out of 3 falls will be tonight's winner. Do you gentlemen understand?
Yes.
Yeah, I
Anybody
understand that the Golden Boy is about to lose because Sonny Money Mayo is 1-0 in the Game Show Challenge. Greg Anthony, wrong night for you, boss.
Well, I tell you what, you better pack a lunch because this is going to be a long night for you because I'm fixing to take you down to Chinatown.
Woo-wee! You know what? I feel like this moment, the tension is beginning to rise. It calls for this. Shots fired! All right, gentlemen, go ahead and get ready. And remember, when you think you know the answer, simply shout it out. Question number 1. This late professional wrestler was a 2005 member of the WWE Hall of Fame. Also, a former guest of the Wrestle Talk podcast.
Paul Orndorff.
Paul Orndorff is correct. Unfreaking believable. With very little information, the Golden Boy is up 1-0 on Sonny Money Mayo.
He hit a low blow and he rolled me up and then he pulled the tights. You didn't see it, ref? Come on, man. What are you doing here? Open your eyes. What are you doing?
Hey, it's no disqualification, man. What do you want?
Come on. I was holding the ropes. You didn't see the rope break?
All right, hold on. Gentlemen, we've still got 2 falls to go. It is truly anyone's game. Question number 2. This professional wrestler has held the NWA National Heavyweight Championship on 2 occasions, both in 2019. He has also held the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships alongside longtime friend CM Punk.
Cole Cabana.
Cole Cabana is correct.
Boom.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be the one I get wrong.
It's more like it.
Okay, enough is enough, says Jim Ross. But guess what? We ain't done yet, gentlemen. We're going to move on to question number 3. This former NWA National Heavyweight Champion held the championship for 94 days also in 2019.
Trevor Murdoch.
Trevor Murdoch is incorrect. He has won countless championships in TNA.
Nick Aldis.
Nick Aldis is incorrect, including the King of the Mountain Championship. The TNA World
Jeff Jarrett.
Jeff Jarrett is incorrect.
Crimson.
Crimson is incorrect. He's also won the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And
James Storm.
James Storm is correct. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner. Well done, Greg Anthony. Now, typically, we'll hit you with some T-Pain right here for the win, win, win. All I do is win.
Yeah.
But I just love this song so much. Then why the hell wouldn't we just go back to that Lex Luger WCW intro theme for a little bit of victory music? Let me see your boys' dance moves.
Nope.
Absolutely love it. Greg Anthony, let me go ahead and pass you the microphone, sir. How does it feel to hand Sonny Money Mayo his first loss as a co-host here on the Wrestle Talk podcast?
I just want to thank my mom and the good Lord above and the girl at the sandwich place that made my sandwich earlier that fed me for the day to help me get to this point.
Listen, Dave Meltzer, Bill Apter, all these wrestling writers are going crazy right now. There's not been a bigger screw job in the history of professional wrestling since the Montreal screw job in 1997. Golden Boy, anytime, any place you want to take a rematch against Sonny Money Mayo in the Wrestle Talk Game Show Challenge, I'm game. And the only thing that's going to be golden is your pants when you see me coming for the win that deserves to be mine. So, putting all that, hey, good job.
It's apropos that you're wearing an Adam Bomb shirt because you just bombed on the.
Whoa! Oh, here we go again.
Hey, in all seriousness,
wow.
In all seriousness, Golden Boy Greg Anthony, thank you so much for playing that game show challenge with me, man. And thank you so much for taking your time with us to come on the Wrestle Talk podcast. You did a phenomenal job. It's a phenomenal interview. I'm going to go back and listen to it again tomorrow because it was that good. But listen, before we get out of here and you wrap that up, man, do me a favor. Drop your social media where we can find you on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, MySpace, writing letters. Let us know where we can find the Golden Boy Greg Anthony and any upcoming shows you got going on and anything like that. Anything you would like to promote.
Yeah, it's the Golden Boy Greg Anthony on Facebook and Instagram. That's usually the 2 best ways. Same thing with Pro Wrestling Mid-South. That's our company. We have a store on Pro Wrestling Tees. Pro Wrestling Mid-South does. And Twitter, I think I'm at Golden Boy Greg, I think is what it is. I'm not much on Twitter nowadays, but
you know what? With your rants, bro, you belong on Twitter. I'm just telling you right now. You have a home in Twitter, and you don't even know it.
Are they still 140 characters?
I think they expanded it a little bit.
Oh, did they expand a little? Well,
you just got to make your shit talking a little bit more concise.
Yep, right. That's it.
Well, I may look into that a little bit then. But yeah, I mean, and upcoming shows, like I said, we wrestle every Friday night in Ripley, Tennessee, 207 South Washington. We wrestle every Saturday night in Dyersburg, Tennessee, which is 1827 St. John. And then every Monday on Beale Street in Memphis, Tennessee at the Jerry Lee Lewis Cafe and Honky Tonk.
Cool. Very cool.
Talk about classic wrestling, classic music, and a class act. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the one and only, the Golden Boy, Greg Anthony. Woo-hoo.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, man.
That's kind of a staticky round of applause, but we'll take it. That's fine.
All right, that's all right.
I was here for 15 years, so, I mean, I don't mind it.
It's all right. Hey, you know what? You deserve a round of applause, and just know we're proud to call you a longtime member of the Wrestle Talk family. Thanks a lot, Greg, man. Have a great night.
You too. Thank you.
Later, buddy. Wow, Sonny Money Mayo. Let's go ahead and bring it to a close here tonight for episode 382 of the WTP, bro. Give me your final thoughts.
It should have been Dick Douglas instead of the Night Owl helping me co-host this Wrestle Talk podcast. I wouldn't be 1-1 in the Wrestle Talk podcast game show challenge. This is a travesty. No, hey, man, I'm just kidding. That was a great time.
Where does that come from? What the hell's doing that?
Yeah, I don't know, man. There's someone around here in the Kansas City area pissed off because they know Sonny Money Mayo should have won the Wrestle Talk. Yeah, but hey, man, 2 great interviews. I'm glad we got high spots in. We didn't get to shoot and shout in, but that's okay because I had a spectacular time, and I'm shouting loud enough right now because I'm still amped. I'm still excited. We're 236 into this. I could go for another 236, but Mrs. Money Mayo would give me the Masato Tanaka elbow, so she wouldn't be having that. But, Renee, thank you so much, man. I had a great time tonight, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm more worried about the green mist and then the Michinoku driver over here, bro.
Yeah.
My wife's a little short, so she'd get that thing popped up. Boom. It'd be nothing but trouble for your boy, the Night Owl. All I can say is this, Sonny. We are continuing to evolve here in the Wrestle Talk podcast, and I want to let you guys know that your support goes a long way. Sonny is on his way to try, I think, to be a key element of what we're doing here. And so far in 2022, bro, you've accomplished that. Every time you made an appearance on the show, you've been absolutely on point. You guys can probably tell that there's been an evolution going on here from your boy moving the mic here to moving it there to changing, putting lights up and doing all this. And in reality, it all comes down to this. One day, a good friend of mine took me to an independent wrestling show, okay? And it changed my life. Because when I was a kid, I wanted to be on ESPN. I wanted to be Stuart Scott, Wrestle Soul. I wanted to be Kenny Mayne. I wanted to be one of those guys, Rich Eisen. And it worked out for me because I get to do that job right here on my very own platform, the Wrestle Talk podcast. And nothing's better than having success and bringing your friends and your family and your little broski with you along the way. And that's exactly what's happening here. So even though you guys didn't get enough dick tonight, because I know everybody was waiting for Dick Douglas, right? Everybody was waiting for Dick Douglas. I promise you this. Every single Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time, the Wrestle Talk will be here to serve. And if you can't get enough of us, if Tuesday's not quite enough, on Thursdays, we got the Fantasy Wrestling Podcast, and we are available to you 24/7 over at the WrestleTalkPodcast.com. Before I sign off completely, allow me just one more time to give a shout out to Everything Combat, Kincaid, Esports Bar KC, Interstate 70 Sports Media, Royal Mills Transportation, Painter's Dream Productions, Rathbun Engraving, Me Fiesta KC Rentals, and of course, the world's premier fantasy wrestling promotion. And you're probably wondering, well, Night Out, how come you didn't bring up Nobleman's? You know why? Because I'm going to be there tomorrow, and I might even broadcast live because I'm looking a little scruffy right now. So I'm going to go holler at people, the barber. You guys, if you're in the greater Kansas City area, you should do the exact same thing. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you, and hopefully we'll see you again right here at the Wrestle Talk Podcast. Everybody have yourselves a wonderful night. We are out. Peace. Mm-hmm.